This page is the front cover of SEGA Saturn Magazine Volume 14 from May 2, 1997. It's a weekly issue and it's priced at 390 yen. The main focus of this issue seems to be on the upcoming game Kakyusei, or Lower Class Student, which is featured prominently with a large image of a character. It's being introduced as a volume-up introduction and a release-even special report, hinting at a big preview inside. Besides Kakyusei, there's a list of other featured games including Last Bronx, Real Sound, Kaze no Regret, Super Robot Wars F, Willy Wombat, Mobile Battleship Nadesico, and Marika, The Truth World. It looks like they are covering a wide range of genres, from fighting games to robot strategy to adventure titles. There's also a section called New Arcade Life, which seems to be introducing new arcade games or trends. At the bottom, there are mentions of even more games being covered, like Langrisser IV, Skate or Die, Mr. Bones, Seabass Fishing 2, Ebarouge, Elf Wokaru Monotachi, and Wara 2 Wars. It looks like a packed issue, with previews and features on many upcoming and recently released Saturn titles. This page seems to be an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game Mobile Battleship Nadesico, The Blank of 3 Days, or Kiru Senkan Nadesico, The Blank of 3 Days, as it was known in Japan. The advert announces it's cool and that it's a romance adventure game, set to release on Friday, May 2nd, priced at 5,800 yen. The page features artwork of 3 of the main female characters from the anime series, alongside a SEGA Saturn console and controller. It highlights the suggested retail price for the console itself at 20,000 yen. The text, Hashin Shimasu, which translates to launching, is also prominently displayed with a heart, likely referencing the anime's famous catchphrase. It's a pretty standard, eye-catching advert for a SEGA Saturn game aimed at fans of the Nadesico anime. This page appears to be continuing the advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game Martian successor Nadesico. It's proclaiming royal outbreak and excitedly explains the premise is a journey to defeat the annoying Jovian lizards and save planet Earth. However, it highlights that building relationships is key, especially with the many female crew members, and whether you are liked or disliked is up to the player. It then asks, "Are you ready?" before stating, "We will be launching soon." The page also features the tagline, "As expected, in the end, love will win," with a question mark, playing on a central theme from the anime. Or screenshots at the bottom hint at the game's visual novel style, showing dialogue choices and character portraits, reinforcing the romance-adventure aspect mentioned on the previous page. The SEGA Saturn logo and 1997 copyright date confirm it's a promotion for the game at the time. This page showcases the SEGA Saturn game Jante Battle Cosplayer, which is described as an anime and real character cosplay battle, Mahjong battle. It's highlighting the appeal of beautiful girl characters and promoting the game as a cosplay-themed Mahjong title. The page boasts features like 3 big voice actors, 18 anime characters, and 8 idols, implying a diverse cast and voice acting talent. Gameplay screenshots show a Mahjong game interface. We also see artwork of anime-style characters and photos of real women dressed in cosplay, further emphasizing the game's central theme. The price is listed as 6,800 yen, with a planned release in April 97. It seems like the game aims to combine Mahjong gameplay with the visual appeal of anime characters and real-life cosplay models. This page is a promotional advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game Jante Battle Cosplayer, building on the cosplay theme we saw on the previous page. It's pushing pre-orders and announcing a special gift for those who pre-order. If you reserve the game, you'll get an original poster and a CD featuring original artwork. The page really emphasizes the cosplay aspect, shouting "Cosplay Battle Cosplayer Present." We see anime-style artwork of girls in various costumes, reinforcing the beautiful girl characters angle. There's also a picture of a real woman in a bikini, probably one of the real character cosplayers they mentioned before. The text talks about all costumes are targeted, highlighting that costumes are a key feature in Emperor Battle Cosplayer. It mentions that cosplay itself, including costumes and items, has become a treasure and part of 20th century culture, referencing trends like schoolgirls, nurses, and anime character costumes, linking these trends directly to the game. At the bottom, there's some background info mentioning that Emperor Battle Cosplayer builds upon Mahjong game algorithms from a PC game released in 1994 called Emperor Battle Cosplayer. It also refers to the PC version Emperor Battle, and mentions that the Emperor Battle cosplayer in the arcade and PC market was a big hit. The deadline for this pre-order campaign and gift is July 31st. Finally, there's the copyright info for Daiki at the bottom. This page is dedicated to Thunder Force Versus for the Sega Saturn, hyping up the game with the tagline, 2D operation feeling, 3D pursuit of power. It's boasting about bringing the tight, 2D controls the series is known for into a new dimension of 3D graphics. The text emphasizes that it's been 5 years since Thunder Force IV, which was a Mega Drive classic, and that V is set to be the ultimate shooting game on the Saturn. They are really pushing the Saturn's 3D processing power, highlighting the use of polygons and promising massive enemy encounters. New gameplay elements mentioned are Overweapon and Hit and Bonus. The game looks visually impressive from the screenshots, showcasing different environments and some intense-looking boss battles. The release date is set for July 4th, 1997, with a standard price of 6,800 yen and a special pack available for 7,800 yen. It's from Technosoft, so you know it's going to be a quality shooter, and this ad definitely makes it sound like they are taking the Thunder Force series to the next level. This page is advertising the SEGA Saturn word processor keyboard set, which aims to transform your Saturn into a word processing machine. They are highlighting how easy it is to use, especially for color printing, and it's getting great reviews. The ad emphasizes the beautifully finished color prints, using a color printer, compatible with various paper sizes, and offering layout options. It also boasts about speedy text input for creating documents and name cards efficiently, thanks to intelligent text composition features. They showcase examples of name cards and clip art you can create, including Tokimeki Memorial clip art, which they call out as a fan favorite. The set includes the Sega Saturn keyboard, the word processor EQ WordVer 1.02 software, the BJC 210J printer, and a printer interface. The special set price is 34,800 yen. Essentially, they are selling the idea that you can use your Sega Saturn for practical tasks like creating personalized name cards and documents, alongside playing games. This page is all about the game Kakyusei, also known as Underclassmen. It's clearly aiming for that heart-throbbing, romantic visual novel vibe, as seen in the tagline at the top, Kokoro no Tokimeki, which means something like hearts fluttering. You can see screenshots with the typical anime-style characters from Elf, known for these kinds of games. There are images of girls in various suggestive poses and romantic situations, hinting at the dating sim and possibly adult themes. The page is essentially an advertisement for the game, highlighting the emotional and romantic experiences it offers. This page continues to showcase the game Kakyusei, also known internationally as Underclassmen. It's still emphasizing the romantic and emotional aspects, with the tagline at the top reading, "I want to tell you," further setting the mood. The page serves as an announcement of its release, stating it went on sale on April 25, 1997, a Friday. The game was released as a 3-disc Crodrom set and had a suggested retail price of 7,800 yen, excluding tax. Notably, it has a clear age restriction, recommending it for players 18 years and older, confirming the mature themes hinted at earlier. The imagery reinforces this, with suggestive screenshots of female characters alongside the main character prominently displayed. This page is dedicated to Sakura Wars and announces that Sakura is in full bloom, meaning the franchise is very popular and in the spotlight. It's advertising a Sakura Wars communication product, described as a multimedia fan club communication. This product is said to be packed with sound and video from the Imperial Opera Troupe and is described as full of new multimedia fan club communication. The page highlights features such as New News, which will provide the latest information, News to Read, suggesting articles and reports, and Imperial Flower Division, emphasizing the characters. It even mentions interviews with voice actors will be included. It's advertised as a digital fan disc and available for 4,800 yen. There are also smaller advertisements for related products, like a Sakura Wars Imperial Secret File for 1,437 yen, a Sakura Wars Original Art and Setting Material Collection for 1,942 yen, and a Sakura Wars Flower Division Countermeasures Battle Columns Official Guide for 980 yen, all of which are stated to be currently very popular and on sale. One section looks like a newspaper article titled, "Fortune Telling Compatibility of 6 Flower Group Members," teasing content within the communication product about character compatibility. Essentially, this page is promoting a new SACR Wars multimedia fan disc filled with content for fans, alongside advertisements for other SACR Wars merchandise. This page showcases a collection of game guides and art books. At the top, it's advertising the Evangelion Second Impression Bible, a complete film book covering 100% of the game's scenarios. It boasts content like best scene introductions for Asuka and Rei, interviews with voice actors and staff, behind-the-scenes details, second impression goods, original music scores, and talk events. Moving down, there's an advert for the Scud Race official guide, highlighted as edited by AM2 research team. This guide is packed with CG illustrations, offers a complete walkthrough for the arcade racing game Scud Race, and is noted for its high-quality design and inclusion of English expressions for study. Next is the Langrisser Sacred Secret File from the SEGA Saturn Magazine Photo CD Maniac Collection Volume 2. This is a crydrom aimed at hardcore Langrisser fans, promising a secret file with character profiles, setting materials, and high-quality image data. On the right side of the page, there's an advertisement for Last Bronx Official Artworks, a CG art collection from SEGA AM3. It features unseen CG illustrations, character setting materials, and is described as a must-have for fans. Finally, at the bottom right, it promotes the Quo Vadis 2 Perfect Guide. This is a strategy guide for the large-scale SF simulation RPG Quo Vadis 2, covering basic tactics, character data, mechanic data, mission routes, and GX event information. This page is the contents page for the magazine. It lists the articles featured in this issue, starting with page 12 for Landmark News and Information, which is a 97 Spring Tokyo Game Show Report, Volume 2. Moving to page 55, there is a special feature called Show Us Your New Life, which is about introducing jobs for new people in the game industry this spring. Page 24 is a pre-release special report for the game Down Classmate, emphasizing it's a volume-up issue with lots of information. Finally, on page 30, there's another special feature section covering a variety of games. This includes Mobile Battleship Nadesico, asking if love will win in the end. And then there's Street, Last Bronx, Real Sound Wind Regret, Super Robot Wars F, Willy Wombat, Groove on Fight, Zeldner Child, Seven Secret Museum, Trembling Smile, and Marika True World. The page also features an image of Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog on the right side. This page highlights SEGA Saturn games. New releases include Dai.Suki, tentative, Nightruth No. 3, Two Truths Only, Three Dirty Dwarves, and Full Cowl Mini 4 WD Super Factory. Upcoming titles are previewed in Coming Soon Soft, including Macross, Do You Remember Love?, Langrisser IV, and Sky Target. The SEGA Saturn Soft Complete Guide features strategy guides for Advanced World War, Senka no Rinbu, Emperor Battle Cosplayer, and Bond's King the Spirits 2. Articles cover the House of the Dead and a Tokyo Game Show report featuring Yu Suzuki and Sega AM2's Last Bronx. A game index alphabetically lists numerous games with page numbers. This page covers the Tokyo Game Show 97 Spring Report, highlighting the SESA Awards where Sega dominated, securing a whopping 8 awards, particularly for Sakura Wars, which was recognized as the big winner. Sakura Wars took home the grand prize, alongside awards for Best Director, Main Character, and Sub-Character. We get comments from Sega Enterprises expressing their delight at winning, emphasizing the support from users and the hard work of the development team. There are sections dedicated to specific games that won awards. Nights into Dreams secured awards for graphics and programming, with comments from the developers about their design and programming efforts and hopes for winning the Sonic Award next year. Virtua Cop 2 is celebrated for winning the Shooting Game Award, praised for its easy controls and enjoyable gameplay, with gratitude expressed to the users who voted. Finally, Decathlete received the Sports Game Award, mentioning a world record score within the game and the dedication to creating a game that players can enjoy for a long time. We can see images of the impressive SESA Award trophies and a photo of Sega staff joyfully celebrating their wins with the trophies. There's also a little bonus section where Sega staff are pictured, mentioning the Daytona USA and Touring Car AM division, and their ambition for future awards. This page showcases various booths from the Tokyo Game Show, highlighting what different game companies were up to. Starting with Sega Enterprises again, they were showing off Neon Genesis Evangelion Second Impression, and had stage events with guests. Sega Band was also there, performing live music, and cosplay idols were present, with talk of a new fighter game called Barbarian Boy. Moving on to Warp, they had a booth featuring D no Shokutaku, D, with floral decorations and female companions, along with stage events and service booths. Atlas was showcasing their Shin Megami Tensei series and book serials, drawing a large crowd. Stank's booth was lively with voice actor events, Janken tournaments, and demos of Samurai Spirits RPG, which was very popular. And Presto focused on Super Robot Wars, with movie showings and playable demos, teasing what Super Robot Wars F would be like. Compile were promoting Puyo Puyo Sun with game tournaments, and Taito had Densha de Go, arrangement music and live performances by Jam Life and Zuntata's Karu. Looking at other publishers, Sei had Parappa the Rapper and Armor Hunter Mellow Link on display, highlighting their PlayStation titles. Namco's booth featured Tekken 3 and PlayStation ports. Square were showcasing Front Mission for PlayStation, attracting large crowds. Enix focused on their 64 titles, hinting at Saturn software in the future. Overall, the page gives a snapshot of the diverse offerings at the Tokyo Game Show, beyond just Sega, demonstrating the excitement and variety of games and events present. This page continues to cover the Tokyo Game Show, jumping into various game publishers and their offerings. Starting with Capcom, they were celebrating Rockman's 10th anniversary with new titles and live recording sessions. Plus, they had a fighting game tournament that was apparently really exciting. BMG Japan had singer Takashi Hosokawa at their booth, which was a bit unexpected. Data East held a Magical Drop 3-game tournament, and it seems participants received prizes. Japan Victor, or JVC, was showing off Virtua Formula, and also had Alcom Kung FU on display. Jaleco's booth featured events with voice actors for Search Eye and Game Paradise, creating a lively atmosphere. Sunsoft had singer Manami Kozakura performing the opening song for her upcoming summer release Photogenic. Outrigger Kobo focused on voice acting, specifically for Phantasm, with voice actor signing sessions. Virgin Interactive was showcasing Rune, emphasizing the improved graphics. NEC Interchannel had a booth attracting attendees with anime and mood music-related events. There was also a Creators Conference that was a big hit, bringing together game industry leaders for talks and discussions. And NTT held a communication game tournament focusing on online games, specifically Virtual Karen, with prizes on offer. Finally, the page also highlights the booth companions at the game show, showing off various women in costumes and swimsuits, reflecting on the flowers of the game show. Sega is revamping its homepage into an entertainment universe, with online shopping, including a campaign with prizes. Voice actress Tomo Sakurai is launching a radio drama on Nippon Broadcasting. Lunar, Silver Star Story fans have a new 100% collection and an MPEG version coming. Phantasm, a horror adventure game, will feature Heath from X Japan's solo singing for its ending theme. His solo album is also anticipated. A film adaptation of John Grisham's The Chamber, Shiokeishitsu in Japanese, is slated for June. Industry rumors swirl around Sega's next-generation console, codenamed Black Belt, potentially launching in 1998 and possibly collaborating with NEC and Videologic. Voice actress Yuka Imai discusses her passion for gaming, drawing parallels between the immersive experience and her theatrical background. She finds the solitary nature of voice acting challenging yet rewarding. Her career spans anime and games, including roles in Tenchi Muyo, Revolutionary Girl Utena, and Boys Over Flowers. She is also known for voicing Rin Kaname in Tactical Fighter, where she also sings 2 songs. Imai's hobbies include mimicry, storytelling, and sports, with a specialization in romantic comedies. The interview also introduces Tactical Fighter, a simulation game focused on training pilots. Players guide Rin Kaname through various training activities to improve pilot skills. The game features impressive voice acting by Imai and an engaging story, boasting extensive graphics for Marin. The page is part of a series catering to Sega Saturn fans. This page reveals the top 15 best-selling Sega Saturn games. Number 1 is taken by Quo Vadis 2 Planet Stronghold, ORV Lee, a simulation RPG by Grams. The reviewer notes it's a steady start for this new release, and has high hopes for its future performance. Following in second place is Professional Baseball Greatest 997, a baseball game by SEGA. Third position is Neon Genesis Evangelion Second Impression, an adventure game also by SEGA. Fourth is Neon Genesis Evangelion, New Package, another Evangelion title. Sankyo Fever, Real Simulation, a simulation game, comes in at fifth place. The rest of the chart includes Cyberbots, Full Metal Madness in sixth, Puyo Puyo Sun in seventh, Advanced World War, Thousand Year Empire's Dissonant Ballad in eighth, Sumigami Niigata Senki Columbus in ninth, and Einhander in 10th. The bottom 5 of the top 15 are J-League Victory Goal 97 at 11th, Fighters Megamix at 12th, Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story 2i at 13th, Angelique Special 2 at 14th, and Metal Slug, rounding out the list at 15th. The page provides sales figures for each game, highlighting both weekly and total estimated sales. It seems to be a snapshot of the current hot titles on the SEGA Saturn market, with a mix of genres represented. This page presents two top lists. The first is the User Data Top 20, which highlights the top 20 games users want to see converted to the SEGA Saturn. Number 1 on this list is Final Fantasy series, followed by Dragon Quest series in second place. Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden takes third, and Oh My Goddess is in fourth position. Vampire Savior, or Darkstalkers 3, is fifth, and Street Fighter 2i is sixth. Other games in the top 10 include Skid Race, Phantasy Star series, Duke Yusei, and Mystery Dungeon series. The top requested game outside the top 10 is Rent a Hero in 11th. The list continues down to 20th position with games like Battle Garega. The second section is Shop Data Top 15 Arcade Video Games, showing the most popular arcade games. Virtua Fighter 3 tops this chart, with Tekken 3 in second, and Cyber Troopers Virtualon Oratorio Tangram in third. Street Fighter 2i is in fourth place, and Real Bout Fatal Fury Special is fifth. Other notable games in this list include Street Fighter X, The House of the Dead, Samurai Showdown, Warrior's Rage, Tokyo Wars, Puyo Puyo Sun, and Scud Race. There's a Coming Soon section highlighting Virtua Striker 2, and screenshots of Tekken 3 and The House of the Dead are also featured. The page mentions that Virtua Fighter 3 and Tekken 3 are leading the fighting game scene in arcades and are hugely popular. This page features the User Data Top 30, which is a ranking of highly anticipated upcoming SEGA Saturn games. At the top of the chart this week is Grandia, with 509 points, described as a role-playing game by GameArts, with the reviewer highlighting the passionate developers, impressive visuals and controls, and the anticipation surrounding playable demo versions. In second position is Virtua Fighter 3, with 371 points, a Sega fighting game. The reviewer mentions intriguing comments from Yu Suzuki, possibly about VF3 information at the upcoming game show, and the planned release around page 130 of the magazine. Super Robot Wars F from Banpresto is third with 320 points and slated for a July 25th release. The reviewer notes that it is a completely new work, even for players of previous titles in the Super Robot Wars series, with more information expected on page 40. Further down the top 30 list, at number 12, is Last Bronx, with 196 points. In 28th place, Super Dimensional Fortress Macross, Do You Remember Love?, is listed with 97 points. The page also includes a Pickup Check Game section, highlighting Last Bronx. Finally, the Other Check, Coming Soon, Mection, showcases Thunder Force V and D third, with screenshots, emphasizing their impressive graphics and anticipated releases. Weekly SEGA Saturn Readers Race Volume 49 presents a ranked list of 171 top-rated SEGA Saturn games, categorized by title, genre, publisher, and reader score. Action, RPG, and shooting games appear popular. The page features readers' opinion discussing score trends. Specifically, High Class Battles and Silver Treasure, M.I.K.A. Akita, are rising in the rankings, while Cyberbots remain strong. Anticipation surrounds upcoming votes for Flower Blooming Team Battle Columns and puzzle game Supreme Boom, Reader's Roar highlights reader feedback, noting declining popularity of World Car Crash games. Screenshots feature characters and a racing game. The page serves as a snapshot of player preferences and game popularity within the SEGA Saturn community. This page features reviews for several new games, alongside the continuation of the SEGA Saturn Readers Race Rankings. Starting with reviews, Cyberbot's Full Metal Madness is praised for its robot battles and in-depth gameplay, with reviewers appreciating the graphics and sound, although some find the story mode a bit lacking. Columns 97 gets a good review for its engaging gameplay and story, with readers finding it addictive and fun, even if some aspects like puzzle balance are criticized. Tokimeki Memorial Selection Fujisaki Shiori is described as a date special game, lauded for its polished presentation, graphics, and audio, though some find it more of an extra content package. Lastly, Professional Baseball 97 is reviewed positively for its improved motion capture and realistic baseball action, with reviewers impressed by the refined gameplay and feel. On the right side, the Oppozu Ranking Saturn B continues the top games list from the previous page, showing a ranked list with game titles, genres, publishers, and reader scores, giving a snapshot of game popularity based on reader votes. This SEGA Saturn Magazine page presents a continuation of reader-ranked game listings, focusing on the C section. It also features new arrival hyper-reviews for 3 new games. Universal Pachinko Museum, a collection of pachinko games, receives an 8/10 overall score for its detailed graphics and realistic experience, appealing to pachinko fans. Ultraman Figure, an encyclopedic Ultraman database, scores 6.8/10, praised for its comprehensive information. Pyoten and Jirukian's Sunny Day, a visual novel, scores 6.222/10. Appreciated for its charming characters and heartwarming story, though noted for slow pacing. Finally, a section announces the winners of a critic's review, highlighting top-rated games like Desthis, Planet Joker, and Practica Mach. The next page dives into Next Issue's Anticipated Games, featuring quick reviews for upcoming titles. First up is Kukyoku Tiger 2 Plus, likely known internationally as Twin Cobra 2, praised for its nostalgic feel, but with mixed opinions on its overall quality. Then there's Shin Sekai Kukoku Advanced Operation, possibly Advanced Variable Geo series related, noted for its anime-like feel, but criticized for its gameplay structure being somewhat confusing. Metal Slug receives high praise for its exhilarating gameplay and detailed graphics. Lastly, Dragon Master Silk is highlighted as a fun RPG with enjoyable gameplay, though some find the pacing a bit slow. There's also a section called Field Betting Station High-Class Horse Racing, discussing Sega Bandai's involvement in arcade games, specifically mentioning Mobile Police Patlabor. The Soft Saturn overall review section talks about spring game releases, mentioning it's still early in the season for big titles. Next we see an odds table Sega Saturn peripherals, listing various Saturn accessories and their overall ratings. It seems to be ranking them based on popularity or performance. There's a Sega Saturn Readers Race Participants Big Recruitment section, inviting readers to participate in a competition involving predicting game rankings. Finally, a This Month's Special Present section details a giveaway with 3 prize options: a power memory and joystick set, 2 wireless controllers, or 2 joysticks, along with a Saturn software title. Readers can apply by sending in postcards with their opinions and predictions to enter a draw. This page focuses on the game Kakusei, which translates to junior high student, but is often understood as underclassman or even junior high school student, although the game is about high school students. It's a romance game from Elf, set to be released on April 25th, and priced at 7,800 yen. This game will be on 3 creeds, and is recommended for players 18 years and older. The page explains that Kakusei is being introduced to explain what kind of game it is. The protagonist, who is the player, is described as an ordinary, third-year high school student entering their last year. It seems the game is set in a town called Rabbit Moon Town, and revolves around the protagonist meeting and dating various girls. The goal is to find a girlfriend among the 13 girls appearing in the game, who aren't just limited to school students, but also girls working part-time jobs in the town. The reviewer mentions that you'll encounter girls in various locations around Rabbit Moon Town, and you'll get to know them and ask them out on dates. The screenshots show in-game dialogues and interface elements, giving a glimpse into the gameplay and conversations you might have with the characters. This page continues with information about Kakyusei, the ultimate romance game releasing on April 25th. It's all about how to successfully date girls in the game. The page breaks down the steps for romancing the girls, from getting their phone number, which is described as the hardest part because they're initially guarded, to asking them out. It suggests that once you have the number, the real challenge of the player's charm begins. Then it guides you on how to approach the date itself and deepen your relationship with the girl. The final point explains whether your date is a success or failure. The page seems to be giving players a guide to navigating the dating aspects of Kakyusei, with in-game screenshots illustrating these dating steps. It emphasizes the importance of understanding the girl's preferences for a successful date. Mizuho's date lecture in Kakyusei offers dating advice, emphasizing that girls desire to be cherished and understood, not just seen as objects. The core principle is knowing the girl well and being considerate. Dates are opportunities to impress, making the choice of location crucial. The advice suggests considering a girl's interests when selecting a date spot, such as choosing an art museum for an art club member. The goal is to demonstrate that you understand and appreciate her. The text includes humorous asides featuring game characters, referencing dating stereotypes, and adding light-hearted commentary. The advice focuses on understanding a girl's feelings and preferences for a successful date. This page seems to be continuing the theme of dating from the previous page, showcasing in-game date scenarios, specifically with a girl named Mahoko. It talks about dating in games with girls, where conversations and visual scenes are central. The article highlights romantic moments like when the protagonist and Mahoko bump into each other. Their eyes meet, creating a romantic atmosphere. It then talks about unexpected events during dates, mentioning scenarios like encountering suspicious people on trains and strange individuals in arcades. Even a bowling date can become a unique event. The page also touches upon successful dates and what happens when things go well, indicating that as dates progress and the girl's affection grows, the relationship deepens. Initially, it might just be conversations, but eventually, holding hands and walking home together becomes possible, and even more intimate developments follow. The article implies that players should strive for successful dates to unlock these rewarding romantic progressions and see new expressions from the girls in the game. Screenshots are shown illustrating different date scenarios and outcomes. Some of the characters you might encounter are described humorously, such as pervert foreigner, naughty guy, sullen guy, and miserable guy, suggesting these are random encounters that can happen during dates in the game. Ultimately, the page encourages players to enjoy the dating aspects of the game and aim for successful dates to experience the full range of romantic developments. This page talks more about dating in games and how the romantic relationships change depending on the girl you choose. It seems to be focusing on dating simulation games, highlighting that the game offers different scenarios and romantic developments depending on which girl you pursue as your lover, though. The article uses the game series Classmates, or Dokusei, as an example. It explains that when you go on dates repeatedly, the love between the two characters deepens, naturally progressing from a normal boyfriend and girlfriend relationship to a physical relationship too. The page suggests that becoming lovers is possible, but reaching that point is challenging. The text talks about the different situations prepared in the game based on the girl, using character voices in various scenes. It mentions that the protagonist's love and the girl's secret feelings are gradually revealed to the protagonist, touching upon worries and side stories of the girl, making her character more charming. There are screenshots illustrating these dating scenarios, and mentions characters like Itomaki and her papa, possibly hinting at specific character storylines or tropes within these dating games. It seems to be exploring the depth and variety of romantic relationships available in dating sim games. This page delves deeper into the concept of events that happen after characters in dating games become lovers. Building upon the previous page's discussion of romantic relationships, the article talks about how once a couple is together, the real fun begins, suggesting that spending time together, going on dates, and sharing troubles are the enjoyable parts. It mentions that reaching the point of becoming lovers can be challenging, but it's just the beginning of the romantic journey. The page highlights the game Classmates, or Kakyusei in Japanese, as a prime example. It emphasizes that while some might see it as just another adult game, It actually offers a pure love story. The reviewer points out that this game excels at evoking a nostalgic feeling of youth and portrays romance in a way that resonates with players who have experienced love, and even makes you contemplate the true meaning of love. We can see screenshots illustrating romantic scenes, and the page ends with a promotional message in big red letters proclaiming, "And 1 week later, you will become a student at Uzuki Academy," which is a direct call to action related to the game Classmates. This page is all about the SEGA Saturn game Martian successor Nadesico. It poses the question, after all, in the end, is it love wins? Hinting at the romantic themes within the game. It's highlighted as a special report, noting that the game's story and romantic elements differ from the TV anime. The game was released on May 2nd, priced at 5,800 yen, and is classified as an adventure game. The article introduces the premise of the game, where Earth's fate is in the hands of the Nadesico crew. It teases the first episode, titled We Meet Again, briefly explaining the story setup with Earth and Jupiter in conflict, and the chaotic initial encounters of the Nadesico crew. There's a section focusing on Misumaru Yurika, the commander, describing her personality and mentioning the powerful weapon called Tumuri. A topics box mentions game bonuses like preview footage and emphasizes how the Saturn version captures the anime's feel, even noting Yuri Mikami's voice work and catchphrases from the game. Finally, the page showcases events to bring two people closer, showing screenshots that suggest romantic interactions and character bonding moments between Eureka and Ruri, emphasizing the dating sim aspects hinted at on the previous page are very much present in this game as well. This page delves deeper into the date scenarios available in Martian successor Nadesico. It seems the game lets you experience various virtual room dates to fulfill different romantic fantasies. We're shown several of these scenarios, each with a different girl from the Nadesico crew and unique settings. First up is improvisational lecture is overlapping, with Minato in a classroom, hinting at a school setting. Then there's system pickup limited time choice, featuring Ruri surrounded by falling books, suggesting a tense, quick decision moment. After school art room, with Megumi in an art room, sets a more creative and intimate scene. Another Ruri scenario is UFO catcher Dreamy Ruri, where she's captivated by a UFO catcher game. For Eureka, there's secrets sleeping deep in the forest, an adventure-themed date in ruins, and finally, female knight, dancing splendidly, with Minato dressed as a knight in a stage play scenario. The page then shifts to the battle system section, labeled Battle Mode Basic Knowledge Edition. It explains the core mechanics in 3 points. Firstly, battles are turn-based, cycling between attack and defense turns. Secondly, you need to input commands before a gauge reaches 0, emphasizing timed input. Lastly, it mentions that allies will support you in battle, suggesting a team-based element where even defeated allies can still help. Screenshots illustrate these points, showing the command selection interface and battle scenes. Overall, it seems the game balances dating sim elements with strategic battle gameplay. This page is introducing us to the main characters of the upcoming sound novel Machi, which is planned for release this summer as a 2 candelas set. We are focusing on Ushio Masami, a former Yakuza member. The tagline asks about the fate of this tough ex-Yakuza who has fallen for an honest woman and is determined to propose. We learn that Ushio Masami, once known as Violent Bull, has left the Yakuza life behind and is now trying to live honestly. He works hard, and half a year ago decided to leave the Yakuza completely, even giving up his position as a potential boss candidate. He's deeply in love with a woman who works at a jewelry store and is ready to propose. The page highlights a scene where Ushio is at a flower shop. He's described as standing resolutely before the flowers, like a Nikeo statue, showing his serious intent. The dialogue box shows him ordering flowers, saying something along the lines of, "Make it good, flowers to give to a woman." The text box below captures a conversation between Ushio and the flower shop clerk, discussing the type of bouquet for the woman he loves. The page also touches upon the game's unique scenario branching system, called Fragment Points, and mentions how the scenarios of Ushio Masami, Amemiya Keima, and Ichikawa Yasushi intersect. This fragment point system seems to be a key feature in Machi. This section introduces Ichikawa Fuminori, the scenario writer for Machi. He's a TV scriptwriter battling writer's block, using medication and alcohol to cope, and haunted by the shadows of nameless figures he incorporates into his narratives. Ichikawa draws inspiration from Shibuya's diverse incidents, crafting stories spanning various genres. The article then promotes the Machi presence at the Tokyo Game Show, TGS, mentioning a successful Chunsoft booth with merchandise and a quiz event. The game's sound novel aspect was well received. Finally, a promotional campaign featuring Machi-themed photo booths, Precura, at 100 arcades is announced. The TGS photo booth saw significant participation and was part of a public reaction assessment, with a Precura Extra campaign offered through postcards. This page is all about the Saturn version of the fighting game Last Bronx, which made an appearance at a game show. The article is reporting directly from the show floor and focuses on the user reactions and the developer's perspective. The game is described as being around 30% complete at this stage and is aiming for a summer release. The article highlights the positive reception from players at the game show, noting that while some aspects are still being tweaked, the overall feeling was very good with lots of positive feedback. Director Anbe Nobuhito talks about his relief at the positive reception and the team's commitment to making the Saturn version as good as possible. He mentions that the Saturn version is aiming to deliver impressive visuals, comparable to the arcade Model 2 version, despite hardware differences. They are focusing heavily on visual impact and effects, and aiming for a high level of graphical quality, emphasizing that the visuals are a key priority. The article also touches upon the technical aspects of the Saturn port, contrasting it with the Model 2 arcade hardware. It points out differences in resolution and image quality, and explains that adjustments and improvements are being made to optimize the Saturn version, including enhancing image quality and adding visual effects. The team feels confident that they can create a compelling visual experience on the Saturn. The next page delves deeper into the Saturn version of Last Bronx, highlighting how elements of the arcade game have been successfully transplanted. The article emphasizes the developer's commitment to capturing the feel of the arcade version, showcasing various gameplay aspects like techniques, wading in attacks, throws, challenges, and combos through screenshots and descriptions. The article talks about the positive user feedback from the game show, where players praised the smooth movement and impactful feel of the hits. They mentioned character details, weapon clashes, and the overall sense of weight in the combat as being impressive and faithful to the arcade experience. The developers expressed their relief at the positive reception, noting that they are aiming to maintain the same power balance as the arcade version, and are carefully considering player feedback as they continue development. They are working on refining the visuals and effects to bring the excitement of the arcade to the Saturn, and are aiming for a summer release for players to enjoy the complete game. They are also thinking about including original elements in the Saturn version to further enhance the experience. This page showcases the progress being made on 4 characters for the Saturn version of Last Bronx. It emphasizes how faithfully the arcade game's elements are being recreated, focusing on movement, techniques, and even the hot-blooded personalities of the fighters. Specifically, it highlights Yusaku Kudo from Team Neo Soul, who uses nunchaku. The article mentions the accurate reproduction of his arcade moves, including his shoulder tackle, and stages like Nightmare Island and the Tokyo Bay Area. When asked about Yusaku's progress, Mr. Abe, presumably a developer, comments on the use of polygons for hair and expressions, and the ongoing work to balance the character. The page then introduces Nagi Toyoshima of Team Doguma, known as the Bay Area Queen, who uses sai. Although weapon trails for her sai are not present in this show version, her techniques and visuals are stated to be well implemented. Combo moves like middle/pierce and combo spine high kick are mentioned, along with techniques like crescent upper and swing knock turn. Mr. Abe's comments on Nagi focus on polygon detail in her face and body, her pink eyes, the rendering of her sai weapons, and the positive look of her Jiban outfit. This page continues the character introductions for the Saturn version of Last Bronx, focusing on Tommy Skelter and Yoko Satomi. First up is Tommy from Team Helter Skelter, who uses a battle stick. The article highlights his flowing movements and flashy techniques, emphasizing how well his arcade style is being translated. Moves like the electric thunder drop hang are mentioned, showcasing his long reach. Mr. Abe from the development team comments that they are focusing on the texture of Tommy's model, especially the polygons used for his hair and expressions. He also notes the stick weapon is being carefully tuned for timing and balance. Next we have Yoko Satomi from Team G-Troops, wielding Tenhanfa. The article emphasizes her strength and aggressive style, listing command throws such as body throws and neck-cutting takedowns, as well as aerial moves like the knee assault. Mr. Abe's comments on Yoko focus on her visual details, including her facial piercings, hairstyle, earrings, and even the textures of her shoulder lizard and scary work boots. He mentions they are really focused on making her look great in this version, and are paying attention to all the details. The page concludes by saying, the game's completion level is still improving, and encourages readers to wait for more news. This page covers the Warp Booth report from the Tokyo Game Show, focusing on their intriguing title, Real Sound. The Warp Booth went all out to create a festival atmosphere. They had a Hanami theme with cherry blossoms, food stalls like Amazaiku, candy craft, and even shooting games. It seems like anything goes at the booth, with even soccer games being part of the fun, apparently a favorite of Ina-san. Live events were a big draw, with singers and musicians performing on stage. There were live performances featuring piano, cello, and violin, playing music from Sega classics like Outrun and Fantasy Zone, and even tunes from Parappa the Rapper. It mentions that creators like Kojima Hideo and Suzuki Yu were also present for talks, and a creator crosstalk. There was even a soccer tournament happening. Beyond the booth's lively events, the article highlights Real Sound as the main game being showcased, but other Warp titles were also being shown. It mentions M2 Software, D2, D-No Shokutaku 2, and games inspired by Tomb Raider and Mario 64 in a 3D adventure style. They also talk about an Enemy Zero non-interactive version being presented as a movie. The article expresses curiosity about when Real Sound will be completed, emphasizing its unique nature as an interactive sound drama, and mentions it's planned for a summer release as a 3 Candelas room set priced at 6,400 yen. Ino Kenji discusses his experiences with game shows, highlighting weather challenges, user surveys, and the absence of shows in Osaka. He reflects on a 1997 software presentation and the high player levels at the time. Turning to Real Sound, Ino credits the story to Sakamoto Yuji and music to Suzuki Keiichi, with Warp involved in planning. He describes it as an interactive sound drama, expressing concern for the Sega Saturn market and hoping for experimental games. He emphasizes Real Sound's timeless concept, mentioning diverse influences like soccer player Gascoigne and music from Mother. He notes mixed reception, with interest from PlayStation users and less from Saturn users, firmly denying a PlayStation port. Finally, he contrasts group-based and individualistic game development, citing Final Fantasy versus titles like Tokimeki Memorial and Sakura Taisen, and expressing a desire for new creative expressions in the industry. Super Robot Wars F is a simulation RPG launching July 25th for 6,800 yen, featuring a vast roster of mecha anime. This definitive edition includes numerous Gundam series: Mobile Suit Gundam, 0080, 0083, Zeta, ZZ, Char's Counterattack, F91, G, Gundam, Wing, and classics like Mazinger Z, Getter Robo, and Combattler vs. Newer editions include Gunbuster, Evangelion, and Cybuster. This installment, single-player only, removes series like Grendizer and Raideen, focusing more on real robot designs, with a few exceptions. The reviewer notes a content shift compared to 4th Super Robot Wars, despite visual similarities. Screenshots showcase battles with units and characters from various series. This page dives deeper into Super Robot Wars F, highlighting key gameplay mechanics. It emphasizes the chatty nature of both allies and enemies during battles. The page showcases different combat scenarios, including close-quarters combat with L-Game MK2, ranged battles with the Ares unit, and strategic team attacks with Getter Robo. It mentions elite soldiers appearing as formidable foes. The section focuses on weapon limits, specifically noting that Gundam Wing units are restricted to 3 shots per weapon, questioning if this is accurate to the anime. Another segment discusses Danbine's strength, questioning if aura power is a factor in its abilities. The page concludes by encouraging reader submissions for various fan content corners, like robot illustrations, short stories, and even game design ideas, all under the umbrella of Super Robot Wars F. They are looking for passionate fan contributions to enrich the magazine's coverage of the game. The next page introduces Willy Wombat as a brand new hero in a quarter-view action game. The design is from Shinosuke Matsushita and features the wild wombat character, Willy Wombat. The page emphasizes the game's unique system, which it calls AQV, or Around Quarter View, highlighting the player's freedom to move and manipulate the field of view. The description talks about Willy following his beliefs, fighting and running freely. It mentions players will control Willy, navigating the field and defeating enemies. The AQV system allows for high freedom in operation and movement, creating a dramatic, movie-like story. The screenshots showcase the quarter-view perspective and some gameplay scenarios. It also details that the game is an action game for one player, recommended for all ages, and was released by Hudson on June 27th for 5,800 yen. This page delves into the mystery of the miracle gems that Willy Wombat is searching for in his new action game. The article emphasizes that the game's story is still largely a mystery, with questions surrounding Willy's identity and why he's being pursued. However, it's confirmed that Willy is being chased by someone, and his primary objective is to find these miracle gems. The page questions what exactly these miracle gems are, noting that details are scarce. It suggests they are jewel-like items that Willy is collecting for some important purpose. One section highlights Willy's gem-seeking mission, with a screenshot showing him pursued by a boulder, reminiscent of classic action sequences, as he races towards a gem. Another section proudly declares, "This is a miracle gem," showcasing a close-up of a pink, polygon-style gem and another screenshot of Willy collecting it. The text describes these gems as essential for Willy to gain complete freedom, hinting at their crucial role in gameplay and potentially unlocking abilities or progression. The right side of the page features a dramatic illustration of a cloaked, shadowy figure looming over a cityscape, with a miracle gem descending from above, surrounded by mystical symbols. This image likely depicts the game's antagonist and emphasizes the significance of these miracle gems to the overall narrative and conflict within Willy Wombat's world. This page is titled, "Check! Attention AQV System Details, Check!" And it's all about a new system called AQV in the Willy Wombat game. It features an interview with the director, Mr. Tomohisa Goe, from Hudson Soft, who explains the AQV system. Apparently, in previous games, the viewpoint was fixed, which was a bit limiting for exploration. The AQV system solves this by allowing players to rotate the field of view freely. The page explains that you can rotate the camera using the L and R buttons and move Willy with the D-pad. This lets you look around the entire 3D field from different angles and reach various points. The screenshots show how rotating the view can reveal hidden items and new pathways in the 3D environments. The director mentions that the L and R buttons for rotation were implemented to match the intuitive sense of control people are used to. They didn't want to suddenly throw players into a full 3D space, but rather make it feel natural for those with 2D gaming experience. The page emphasizes that actively changing the viewpoint using the AQV system is key to playing the game, allowing you to discover new things and explore strategically. It seems this new camera system is a major feature and a point of focus for this Willy Wombat title. This page details several gameplay features in Willy Wombat, building upon the previously introduced AQV system. Timer switches open doors for a limited time. Players must use the camera controls, L and R buttons, and the AQV system to plan their route and navigate quickly before the doors close. Power life items, displayed on the life gauge, recover health and strengthen Willy. Collecting 5 extends the gauge. Map switches reveal a map, allowing players to rotate the field of view using the L and R buttons, further leveraging the AQV system to understand the environment. The page concludes with advice from Jabba, an older character, encouraging players to utilize the AQV system for better spatial awareness. This page is all about the upcoming SEGA Saturn game Groove On Fight, part of the Power Instinct series. It highlights that this new installment keeps the series' core systems, but adds fresh elements like team battles and a stress shoot mechanic. They're really emphasizing the game's common special moves, showing off 3 key attack types: combination attacks, which are unique to each character and cancelable into special moves, dash attacks, which vary based on character direction, and stress shoots, powerful desperation moves activated when the gauge is full. The page features screenshots demonstrating each of these attack types in action, showcasing the vibrant and over-the-top fighting style of Groove on Fight. It also mentions that this game is for 1 to 4 players with a Battle Royale mode, and highlights 11 playable characters and their special move commands are revealed. The reviewer seems excited about the new characters and gameplay additions, suggesting it will be a refreshing entry in the Power Instinct series, and particularly praises the visuals by Range Murata. This page focuses on the characters in Groove on Fight. It introduces 3 characters in detail: Ome and Otane, Gartheimer, and Larry Light. For each character they give a little backstory, and then list their special moves, combo techniques, and stress shoot move. Ome and Otane, who are described as a pair and collectively 200 years old, have moves like Rock Crush Break and Mother Hull Descent. Gartheimer, described as friends with Iron Balls and Demian, has moves like Iron Mine and Heavy Tread. Lastly, Larry Light, a burning fresh adventurer whose father is a scholar and grandfather a martial artist, has moves like Light Blast and Impact Connection. Screenshots demonstrate these characters in action and show off some of their special moves and the stress shoot mechanic from the game. It's really diving into the character roster and getting players ready to pick their fighters. This page continues to introduce characters from Groove on Fight. Featured here are 4 more fighters: Chris Wayne, known as the Cool Fighter; Papura, the teddy bear-loving magical girl; Remy Otogiri, described as Lady is a Witch; and Soils R8000, the future-type police burning with mission. For each character, the page lists their special moves, combo techniques, and stress shoot attacks. Chris Wayne's moves include Lightning Slash and Rolling Cannon, with his Lightning Break highlighted as his stress shoot. Pura, the magical girl, has moves like Little Commander and Spinning Candy, and her stress shoot is called Tulip. Remy Otogiri, the witch, uses moves such as Il Fio and Capriola, and her stress shoot is Requiem. Lastly, Soils R8000, the futuristic cop, has moves like Stan Blit and Stan Platinum, with Sirius Multiplier being his stress shoot. Screenshots are included to show off each character's stress shoot attack in action, giving players a glimpse of their powerful moves. This page introduces 4 more characters from the fighting game, Groove on Fight. Max Axdax, a weaponized mad scientist, utilizes moves like Max Megaton and Maximum Service. Tenjima Bashi, a festive Japanese character, fights with wooden clappers and seasonal attacks, culminating in his Tsutenkaku Big Fireworks stress shoot. Yumi Yukinue, a ninja enthusiast, employs techniques such as Shadow Escape and Cross-Character Slash. Lastly, Falco, a gambler, battles with card and dice-themed moves, ending with the Stormy Poker stress shoot. Each character has a unique design, set of special moves, and a stress shoot, all displayed with action screenshots. Koei's new simulation RPG, Soldnerschild, also Zeldnerschild, co-developed with SEGA, was announced on April 4, 1997, for an autumn '97 release at 7,800 yen. Set in a war-torn medieval land, the game centers on a young man seeking to end the cycle of conflict. Players lead mercenary armies, starting with following orders and eventually commanding their own forces, influencing their nation's destiny. Screenshots reveal large-scale battles with many soldiers. Key characters include the main character designed by Komine Yoshimi, the hinted heroine Anastasia, Caroline in a town setting, and mercenary Captain Cortez. Battles occur on varied terrain, with up to 150 units in 3Ds, featuring real-time strategic combat with the ability to fight enemy commanders directly. RPG elements in towns allow information gathering and character interaction, with battle results affecting rewards. SEGA Saturn owners have exciting new developments. Koei is releasing 7 Mansions, Smile of Terror, a first-of-its-kind 2-player cooperative adventure game. Players explore a creepy mansion, solve mysteries, and survive together, using split-screen and merged gameplay. The game features voice acting and promises a thrilling, mysterious experience. Also, a digital camera-compatible Saturn word processor set is available, allowing you to connect digital cameras and capture game moments. Users can print their favorite gameplay moments as stickers. Lastly, Koei hosted an Angelique event featuring talk shows, a cosplay contest with over 115 participants, and guest appearances from voice actors. You can create Angelique stickers using Koei's software and anticipate a special Angelique 2 feature on their website. The next page highlights Marika Truth World, a psychic suspense RPG from Victor Interactive Software and Victor Soft. This game, rated 80%, focuses on three beautiful girls with psychic abilities who are embroiled in a conflict with a secret society known as the Truth Messengers. Released on June 20th, priced at 5,800 yen, and recommended for players 18 and older. Marika is a single-player adventure RPG. The game promises a thrilling experience with an intriguing storyline, and the page introduces the three main characters. First is Akira Kanemoto, voiced by Akemi Kaneda, described as a cool leader of a delinquent group within the Truth Messengers. Next, Kaname Todu, voiced by Tomoko Maruo, is depicted as an arrogant and wealthy girl who also becomes entangled with the Truth Messengers. Finally, Marika Kamizaki, voiced by Yuka Imai, is the central heroine. She's a high school girl caught up in the troubles of the Truth Messengers, possessing latent psychic powers that develop as the story progresses. The page emphasizes the psychic battles in the game, calling it a psychic battle action, and highlighting the characters standing up as psychic warriors. The reviewer seems positive about the game, pointing out the blending of adventure and RPG elements. Marika Truth World is a psychic suspense RPG centered around a dramatic story and strong character performances. Three psychic girls battle the shadowy Truth Messengers in a narrative driven by a compelling script and voice acting. Gameplay features strategic, turn-based battles with 6 psychic power types. Battles transition into animation-rich scenes with a classic RPG command system. Exploration takes place in a realistically rendered Shibuya, Tokyo, with over 50 explorable maps and save points. The antagonists, the Truth Messengers, seek control, led by Truth Person. Key figures include the recurring enemy, Monster Person, Foot Soldiers, and Marika's rival, Olga. The game promises a deep conspiracy. Game developers Endo Masaki and Taniguchi Makoto discuss their game development philosophy, centered around the concept of truth. Endo's work is driven by a desire to question modern Japan, reflected in his original characters and realistic portrayals of girls, moving beyond stereotypical depictions. Taniguchi highlights their game, Marika Truth World, exploring themes of money and friendship through dramatic storytelling, emphasizing voice acting and narrative consistency. The interview showcases several games: Magical Girl Silky Lip, a social satire with theatrical presentation; A Rank Thunder, Tanju Hen, focusing on human drama with a goal of complete resolution; and Metal Fighter Miku, known for character depth. Screenshots and game boxes are included. A homepage named Endo, likely related to Marika and other projects, is also promoted, promising further details on scenarios and development. This page seems to be a motivational piece about joining the game industry. The large text proclaims, "Show me your new life," alongside an image of a businessman energetically leaping over a railing, really pushing the idea of taking a bold jump into a new career. It's headlined, "Jumping into the Game Industry with Courage," and the text below explains it's a special feature focused on newcomers in the game industry. Apparently, they've interviewed 5 fresh faces in the industry to showcase their work and inspire aspiring game developers. The article mentions that if you're a budding game creator, this Satamaga article should offer helpful insights. The overall tone is optimistic, looking forward to the future dreams of Japan's amusement industry, and highlighting the enthusiasm of these new individuals entering the field. It's definitely about embracing the game industry with energy and ambition. A Newbie PR Person's Day offers a candid look at the life of a PR professional at a software company. The article showcases the experiences of Makiko Itaka, who immersed herself in industry trends by reading magazines. It details the demanding process of creating promotional materials, from capturing game screenshots to editing visuals. The piece also highlights the challenges, including handling unreasonable requests, complaints, and quickly correcting errors, while always maintaining a composed demeanor. A humorous segment depicts dealing with unexpected issues. Finally, Veteran Tadashi Takizaki shares his experiences at SEGA, emphasizing the hands-on nature of early PR work, including the importance of magazine coverage and creating engaging content for Mega Drive games. The article includes screenshots and references to several game titles, illustrating the context of the PR work. This page, part of a series reflecting on My Newbie Era, explores the early days of PR and game production. It covers a range of PR tasks, from securing media coverage to preparing promotional materials and even debugging games. A staff member's cosplay at a game show highlights the importance of generating excitement. Interviews with industry veterans offer valuable perspectives. Tanaka-san from NEC Interchannel discusses her 7 years in PR, her passion for RPGs, and the importance of self-management. Tabata-san, also from NEC Interchannel, advises newcomers to persevere, learn from mistakes, and collaborate. Finally, Takahashi-san, a veteran from SEGA, shares his hands-on experiences, emphasizing the importance of proactive outreach and creating engaging content to promote games like those for the Mega Drive. This article explores the experiences of game development newcomers. Kamukabe-kun from Compile shares his positive integration and eagerness to contribute, highlighting the importance of teamwork and collaboration. The piece showcases the daily life of a newbie, including planning meetings, the significance of politeness and hard work, even physical tasks like moving boxes, and the crucial role of testing and debugging. Humorous elements like cleaning duties and relatable bug occurrence frustrations are also featured. Additionally, industry veteran Yasukawa Nobuhide-san from Namco reminisces about his early days, including driving a company car and working alongside senior developers. He emphasizes the inspiration he drew from classic Namco games like Galaga and the passion that fueled the creation of games like Xevious, also mentioning Compile's Puyo Puyo. The My Rookie Days feature spotlights experiences from game industry veterans and newcomers. Okamoto Yoshiki, a Capcom developer, recalls the demanding early days of working late nights and sleeping at the office, but finds the experience ultimately rewarding. Junito Masamitsu, the president of Compile, humorously describes his company and advises new hires to learn from experienced colleagues and embrace the work's enjoyable aspects. The page also offers a visual glimpse into a newcomer's daily life at Compile, showing various tasks such as reception duties, paperwork, teamwork, setup, and presentations. The content highlights the spectrum of experiences, from everyday office routines to the creative process, promoting a positive message about teamwork, learning, and enjoying the challenges of game development. This page offers a peek into the daily life of a newcomer at Sega's amusement theme park, specifically Shinjuku Joyopolis. We meet Hemiz Ueno Hatsumi, a new employee who started in October, learning the ropes with information duties and cafe work. She's keen to become a versatile team member, able to handle any situation. The page then walks us through the morning routine at Joyopolis, starting with the 9 a.m. morning assembly. New staff and part-timers are trained, focusing on greetings and customer service. Before the 10 a.m. opening, there's a flurry of activity to get ready, especially in the food shops, with staff handling money and checking supplies. We also get a glimpse at the maintenance team, highlighting their crucial role in keeping the attractions running smoothly. The article notes that maintenance is handled by specialists. Finally, industry veteran, My Rookie Days, features Takahashi Toshiki from Hudson, a company known for games like Bomberman and Adventure Island. He reflects on his early days starting in 1982, when the Famicom was gaining popularity, and his work selling bikes alongside games. He recounts his time working on Star Soldier and the challenges of balancing game difficulty to appeal to both kids and adults. He emphasizes the need for balanced gameplay to make games enjoyable. This page continues our look into Sega's Joyopolis, focusing on customer experience and employee perspectives. We see how seriously staff take customer safety and enjoyment, emphasizing polite interactions and attentiveness, even with excitable kids, on racing game simulators. The page highlights the variety of merchandise available, showing off Sonic and Tails goods. In My Rookie Days, we hear from Araya Kazuo from Sega's ATP business divisions. He reflects on his early days, emphasizing the importance of going the extra mile for customers, and the excitement of working on events at Joyopolis. He advises newcomers to be proactive and bring their ideas to life. The Good Luck Rookies section features a message from Joyopolis chief, Tamsu Toshiaki. He reinforces the customer-centric approach, telling new staff to focus on creating fun experiences and understanding customer enjoyment as the key to their work. He emphasizes teamwork and being a valuable, usable asset. Lastly, industry veteran, My Rookie Days, interviews Miyagi Yoichi, president of GameArts. He discusses his early career, founding his company, and the success of his initial hit game, the XDER. He touches on the challenges of early game development and the enduring appeal of his creations like the XDER for fans even today. He recalls his early struggles, working with a small team and limited budget, highlighting the dedication required to succeed in the games industry. This page offers an insider's view of life as an editor at a SEGA Saturn magazine. It covers various aspects of magazine production, from writing and color proofing to interviews and meetings, showcasing the daily grind and creative process. We are introduced to Chicken Kanda, a new editor, and his enthusiasm for the demanding role. The article features insights from Chikami Yutaka, the editor-in-chief, who reflects on his career journey, highlighting the evolution of the gaming industry. He discusses his transition from science to publishing and the importance of continuous learning. Finally, a section explores the appeal of the game industry to students, presenting data on companies ranked by their technical skill, planning abilities, and willingness to empower young employees, with top names like Sony, Nintendo, and Sega. This magazine features reader contributions and game-related content. Illustrator Many Appearances showcases fan art. Bomb Train Alright is the 6th installment of a Bomberman-themed section, sponsored by Hudson Soft. Several fan artists are highlighted, including their styles and preferences. Future Be Open announces the opening of a trading card shop. Virus Radio promotes Hudson's cyberpunk radio program, Midnight Virus, airing weekly. Teach Me! Famous People offers advice on Peach Iron, train simulation game. Addiction, suggesting a peach iron pillow. The present section gives away Bomberman merchandise, and Bomberman Selector rewards contributors. Lastly, Ichigaya Fraulein Legend introduces Miss Midoriko Tanaobe from Hudson's homepage department, revealing her hobbies and preferences. This page is showcasing a book called Otaku Amigos, written by Okada Toshio, Karasawa Shunichi, and Nomoto Naoki. It seems to be a collection of lively discussions and insights into otaku culture. They mention it's based on popular talks and sheds new light on unusual works, aiming for a paradigm shift. The page also lists a number of guest contributors, including Itu Shinpei, Tatekawa Shinosuke, Kaida Hiroji, Terashima Raiko, Solbon X Kozue, Nakano Yoshihiro, Takanuma Kentaro, and Yamamoto Hiroshi, amongst others. There are also adverts for 2 more books. The first is Dungeon Rhapsody by Sakata Hiroko, which seems to be based on a popular column from Super 64, likely referring to the Nintendo 64. It's a collection of comics and columns from a manga artist who is clearly a big game fan. It will cost you 971 yen. The second book is Game Machine is Daisy Daisy's Song, written by Konobayashi Fuyumi and illustrated by Mizutama Keinojo. This one is based on Super Famicom columns, which we know internationally as the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and it appears to be full of stories and illustrations focusing on retro games. This book is also priced at 971 yen. Dream Access by Higashikana opens with personal anecdotes about weather and milk tea preference. The author recounts a successful, rain-soaked Tokyo game show visit, buying a doujin, and meeting President Inuma. Humorously dubbed a Dajare master, they reflect on twin-stick gaming. A car story involves a Satan car, an open button, and hamster droppings. The writer bought a bent Satamaga magazine, and then humorously imagines Satamaga becoming game software. Absolutely Perfect, Ayanami-san explores character naming and secret stories. The author composes New Year's greetings, seeking Hokkaido gamers' opinions. A quirky Saturn comment references New Rice and a black Saturn. Evangelion Second Impression features Rei and Misato impressions. Vampire Savior showcases Galen, and this week's Human Wolf Small Room includes a comic strip. Volume 7 concludes with praise for the author, mentions of returning a KOF voice pack, rivalry, and aspirations to be an S-rank lover. The next page is dedicated to reader submissions, starting with Shrank Love Letter, where fans share their passionate feelings for Saturn game characters. One submission, titled Cage-a-Mania, expresses an intense obsession with Sarah Bryant from the Virtua Fighter series, detailing playing her in Virtua Fighter Remix and their love for her voice and cool personality. Another submission, Cute Cocoon is all about the adorable carbuncle from Puyo Puyo-san, praising its cute voice and love for curry, even mentioning eating at Koko Ichibanya, a popular curry restaurant chain. Then there's Have You Left Saturn Yet? A letter addressed to Tommy from Last Bronx, describing him as a darling character and mentioning his height and birthday. The writer talks about spending money on Saturn games and considers their Saturn and related merchandise like creds and stickers as treasures, especially mentioning something called Helter Skelter. A new corner is announced called Things I Hate Like This, where they are asking readers to submit things they dislike, specifically related to games and the Saturn. They give examples like hating people who brag about high scores or bad manners during multiplayer. Finally, Girls Gossip Talk Room Heart Girls Are So Cute Heart features light-hearted reader submissions. One mentions enjoying Virtua Fighter and the Puffy CD, while another talks about preferring to stay indoors and play games on rainy days. This document reviews various SEGA Saturn game-related topics. One reader questions the price of Christmas Nights and asks for game recommendations, mentioning X-Band and Virtual Fighter D Versus. Virtual Chan Memorial describes a dating sim experience causing an obsession, while Stray Dog Virtual discusses a Virtua Fighter player's style. Together with Virtual Chan reviews a puzzle game with an old lady character, and Virtual Tigers discusses a baseball game's failure. Dream Access encourages readers to wish for new games, highlighting Sakura Wars Red Hot Team. Comic Da shows a manga panel of a game glitch. Good Game Discovery Liaison Council discusses memory expansion for puzzle games, recommends Taiku Rishiden, and notes sequels for Itokimeki Memorial and Gal's Panic. The document concludes with a Sega Ages promotion featuring the character Giant Woman Zoo. The Dream Museum section features reader-submitted artwork. This week's highlights include the Kana Award winner from Tokyo, a manga-style drawing. Best one went to a Grandia fan art piece from Hokkaido, praised for its cuteness. Other submissions include mecha art from Osaka, gritty art from Shimane, cartoonish figures from Tokyo, energetic Grandia fan art from Aichi, and a piece based on Shining the Holy Ark, also from Aichi. Program information details submission guidelines. The magazine seeks illustrations and new corner ideas. They are looking for postcards including name, pen name, and requested software title, sent in sealed envelopes. Accepted entries will receive 23 pieces of software, and artwork can be in any style, including color. The magazine encourages ideas for new sections. This page is a mail-order advertisement from a store called Santa, specializing in Sega games and consoles. It's packed with lists of games and peripherals available for purchase, mostly for the Sega Saturn, but also for Mega Drive, Mega CD, 32X, and Game Gear. They're highlighting Saturn new software, and it looks like they've got a good selection. Some of the games listed include Assault Suits Valken 2, Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story, Blue Destiny, Cyber Troopers, Virtualon, and Deep Fear. They've categorized games into genres like action, RPG, simulation, and adventure, making it easy to find what you're looking for. Prices are listed in yen, and they mention a flat 400 yen shipping fee across most of Japan. Besides Saturn games, they're also selling software and accessories for older Sega systems. There are long lists of Mega Drive, Mega CD, 32X, and Game Gear titles, plus peripherals like controllers and memory cards. It's a real treasure trove for retro Sega fans. It looks like you can order by phone, fax, or mail, using postal money orders or bank transfers. They are also quite clear about shipping times and payment methods. Essentially, this page is a comprehensive catalog for Sega gamers looking to expand their collection through mail order. This page showcases several manga anthologies based on popular video games. The 4-Koma DX series features Pocket Monsters, Pokemon, adapted from the Game Boy game, and Tushinden 4-Koma DX, based on the PlayStation fighting game Battle Arena Tushinden. Both are 4-panel comic anthologies, priced at 728 yen. The Super Game Anthology comic series offers Super Real Mahjong PV Paradise All-Stars 4-player battle anthology comic for 951 yen, featuring stories and illustrations of characters from the Super Real Mahjong series. Two Tushinden anthologies, priced at 854 and 951 yen, and anthologies for Bloody Roar 2, 951 yen, and Vampire Hunter Darkstalker's Revenge, 1,068 yen, round out the selections, all featuring various artists and collections of comics and illustrations. This page is showcasing what's happening at the gamer stores. The Shinjuku branch is holding a Psychic Force fair, advertised as 120% fair, where you can get your hands on Psychic Force merchandise, such as trading cards, character collections, and themed items like cookies, chokers, gloves, t-shirts, phone cards, and pins. There are also ads for Eternal Melody and Persona telephone cards. The page conveniently includes store information and maps for gamers' locations in Shinjuku, Ikebukuro, Kyoto, Shibuya opening on April 25th, and Akihabara opening on May 3rd, along with opening times and phone numbers for each location. This page celebrates the design differences in SEGA Saturn games released outside Japan. The author highlights titles like Die Hard Arcade, Dynamite Deca in Japan, and Baku Baku Animal for their appealing styles. The American game lineup includes Die Hard Arcade, with its Americanized box art, Guardian Heroes, Baku Baku Animal, and Astal. European releases, such as Shinobi Legions, Shinobi 10s, are noted for their distinct aesthetics, in this case, a darker tone. Golden Axe. The duel also receives praise. Beyond Games. The page details how Sega kept fans informed. They provided news through the Sega Joy Joy telephone, the Sega Fax Club, the Sega Video Magazine, in-store promotional videos, and the Flash SEGA Saturn video series. Sega PC Net offered online information covering various news preferences. This page is a queue and a section called Sonic Stadium from Sega Press. The first question is about games compatible with the X-Band online service for the Sega Saturn. They list a bunch of games that work with it, including Virtua Fighter Remix, Saturn Bomberman, Sega Rally Championship, Daytona USA Circuit Edition, and Cyber Troopers Virtualon. They mention more titles are coming, and to keep an eye out for future announcements. The next question is about favorite musical artists and bands, mentioning liking bands in the style of Journey and Boston. The response lists guitarists like Warren DeMartini from Rat, Steve Stevens from Billy Idol, Amir Durak from Rough Cut, Michael Landau, and Jeff Beck. It then shifts to Sega Saturn commercials, discussing how Sega is putting a lot of effort into promoting the Saturn compared to PlayStation and PC Engine, saying Sega is aiming to be #1 in Saturn CMS, with companies like Hudson and Sammy also involved in creating them. Down at the bottom, there's a Sega Press Diary section with short snippets from staff writers. Nankumo-kun writes about enjoying J-League Soccer. Game Mickey talks about buying iron sweets and burning herself. New gamer Nami is excited about the BGM from Virtua Fighter 3's new album and mentions going to Akihabara for game shopping. Finally, there's a Sega Press Present section, this time giving away Sakura Wars soundtrack Imperial Capital Radio posters to 5 lucky readers. This page is the Sega Saturn Soft Databank, a detailed listing of Sega Saturn games from November 1994 to April 1997. It's like a review database, presenting game titles alongside their release dates, publishers, prices, and, importantly, scores from both readers and reviewers. The page explains how the scores are calculated, being an average from reader surveys and reviewer opinions, and they even use symbols like X to indicate games recommended for mature audiences and S for games the reviewers didn't rate as highly. You can see a lot of games listed here, with various peripherals noted for compatibility, offering a snapshot of the Saturn game library at that point in time, giving players an idea of game info and critical reception all in one place. This page continues the Sega Saturn Soft Databank, still listing a huge collection of games. It's packed with titles, release dates, publishers, prices, and those all-important reader and reviewer scores. You can see they are progressing through the release dates, still in the mid-1996 period, and it's just wall-to-wall Sega Saturn games. Looking through, you've got a real mix of genres, from fighting games like Virtua Fighter 2 and Dragon Force, action titles like Panzer Dragoon, racing with Daytona USA, shooting with Virtua Cop, and even puzzle games. They're also highlighting compatibility with different controllers and peripherals, like the multitap, analog controllers, and the racing handle. It's a great snapshot of the sheer volume of games available on the Saturn at this time, really showcasing the breadth of the library. This page is another packed installment of the Sega Saturn Game Database, showcasing even more titles released around mid-1996. It's a real goldmine of information for Saturn fans. You can see the huge variety of genres, from the tense horror action of Deep Fear and the fast-paced shooting of Sonic Wings Special, to high-speed racing with Rad Mobile, which is listed as Gale Racer here. Of course, classic Saturn titles like Virtua Fighter 2 and Panzer Dragoon are still present, showing the system's strong arcade roots. And there's also a mention of the festive fun of Christmas nights into dreams. Cyber Troopers Virtual On also makes an appearance, further highlighting the Saturn's powers. The page is full of details, including release dates, prices in yen, publisher information, and, importantly, both reader and reviewer scores, giving you a great sense of how these games were received at the time. They also note controller compatibility, including things like multitap and analog controllers. It's really impressive to see just how many diverse and exciting games were available for the Sega Saturn, all on one page. This page continues the Sega Saturn game database, and it's another treasure trove of titles. There's a strong showing of different genres here, with shooting games like Blast Wind and Fighters Megamix standing out. You can see some interesting fighting games like Fighters Megamix getting a high score from the magazine reviewers and readers, showing it was well received. There are also titles like Advanced World War, Thousand Year Empire's Demise, and Dungeon Master Nexus, indicating a variety of RPG and strategy games were also available. Puzzle games like Baku, Baku Animal, and Columns are also present. There's mention of compatibility with things like RAM carts for certain games, which was common for enhancing performance on the Saturn. It looks like there's a wide spectrum of games, catering to different tastes, showcasing the Saturn's diverse library. This page is a databank index for Sega Saturn games, organized alphabetically in Japanese. It's packed with game titles, showing the sheer variety available on the systems. Looking at the A section, we see titles ranging from action platformers like Arthur to Astaroto no Nazo Makaimura, likely related to ghosts, and goblins, to Idle Janshi Tsuchipai, and even golf with Actua Golf. RPGs are present with Advanced World War, Thousand Year Empire's Demise, and Panzer Dragoon Saga, listed under A. Moving through the index, we spot games like Ultima Underworld, X-Men Children of the Atom, NBA Jam, simulation titles like Simulation Zoo, and racing games with entries like Sega Rally Championship. Fighting games are well represented, with mentions of Street Fighter and Fighters Megamix, which was highlighted previously. Puzzle games like Super Puzzle Fighter 2X and Sexy Parodius are also in there. The index covers a wide range of genres, confirming the Saturn's broad appeal and extensive game library. This page continues the alphabetical index of Sega Saturn games, moving through the H, F, B, P, M, Y, R, and W sections in Japanese. In the H section, we see a variety of titles, including pinball action in Hyper 3D Pinball, the intense shooting of Hyperduel, and even sports titles with Hat Trick Hero. Moving into the F and B sections, fighting games become prominent with entries like Fighting Vipers and its sequel, numerous Virtua Fighter CG Portrait Series editions, and the crossover brawler, Fighters Megamix. There's also Fist, FIFA Soccer, Fighters History Dynamite, and Fighters Illusion, K1 Grand Prix. The B section introduces titles like the horror-themed Blood Factory, the quirky Blur Blur, and the FMV action of Brain Dead 13. The index then progresses through the P and M sections. Planet Joker and several Princess Maker titles are present, showcasing simulation and racing sim elements. The M section is extensive, featuring titles like magical drop puzzle games, the Mahjong games such as Mahjong Gokuhuki and Mahjong Sisters, and action titles like Metal Slug, Metal Fighter Miku, Metal Black, and Mortal Kombat. The page concludes with the Y, R, and W sections, listing racing games like Race Drivin', platformers like Rayman, and action titles such as Rambo, RoboPit, Rockman 8, Mega Man 8, Worms, World Heroes Perfect, and Wipeout. The index demonstrates the sheer breadth of genres available on the Sega Saturn, from puzzle and simulation to action, fighting, and racing games. This page shows an answer questionnaire postcard section that provides instructions on how to fill out the included postcard to send back to the magazine. It details how to answer questions, provides example answers, and outlines the personal information needed such as gender, age, school or occupation, and how many Sega Saturn software titles they own. There are also questions asking about the reader's satisfaction with the articles in the current issue, both good and bad points, what hardware they own, what hardware they plan to buy, and what software they intend to purchase in the future. Below this is a list of articles featured in this issue, followed by a hardware list that includes various SEGA Saturn consoles like the original SEGA Saturn, V Saturn, HI Saturn, accessories such as joysticks, memory cards, and even link cables. Finally, there's a large software list which contains a vast number of games across various genres, such as Burning Fest, Panzer Dragoon RPG, Amok, Wizard's Harmony 2, Willy Wombat Virus, Galaxy Force 2, Outrun Afterburner, Fantasy Zone Sonic Jam, Virtua Fighter 2, Virtua Cop, Daytona USA, Sega Rally Championship, Guardian Heroes, Assault Suit Lanos 2, Tactic Formula 1, Deep Fear, Lunar, Silver Star Story, Panzer Dragoon Zwei, Dragon Force, Nights into Dreams, Radiant Silvergun, and many. This page is showcasing the latest and upcoming SEGA Saturn games. It's divided into two sections, starting with new release titles, that includes titles like the strategy RPG Bluebreaker, the educational game Saturn Music School, the quirky action game, 3 Dirty Dwarves, Full Cowl Mini 4WD Super Factory, and Can Bunny Extra. Next up are the coming soon soft titles, games that are almost ready for release such as Super Dimension Fortress Macross. Do you remember Love? The strategy RPG Langrisser IV, Sky Target, Seabass Fishing 2, EVO. Search for Eden, Those Who Hunt Elves, Wara Squared Wars, Fantastep Mr. Bones, Angel Graffiti Us, Profile for You, and a couple of titles from Dazigic, Aqua World, and Tin Toy. The page also features artwork, which looks like it's from Langrisser IV. It gives readers a sneak peek at what's new and what's just around the corner for SEGA Saturn gamers. This page introduces Daisuke, a dating sim game for SEGA Saturn. The game is set in the futuristic year 2200, where Earth is divided into nations and space colonies exist. You play as a student at a Federation military academy in a space colony, aiming to find a lifelong partner amongst the many female students. The game emphasizes deep character customization, going beyond just names and nicknames. You can set various personality traits and even blood types and birthdays, which influence compatibility with other characters. The gameplay revolves around weekly schedules, where you plan your character's activities. The page highlights the numerous cute female characters you can interact with, who are aspiring military officers. It briefly introduces several of these characters with their names and short descriptions, like Tsukise Kohaku, a cheerful and energetic girl; Shiel Marseille, who is intelligent and cool; Gold Honey Mackenbell, known for her beautiful golden hair and elegance; and Miaru Rouge Gabreski, who is described as a kind but strong-willed character. The overall tone suggests a lighthearted and enjoyable dating simulation experience, designed to relieve stress and offer fun gameplay. This page introduces 3 new games. First up is Bluebreaker, described as a romance and adventure RPG that was popular on PCFX. It's all about the drama between characters and finding love, with a focus on smooth animation that brings the story to life. The game features a system where character emotions are represented, and your choices impact how the story unfolds. The screenshots show in-game scenes with dialogue and what looks like battle sequences. Next is Saturn Music School, a music creation tool for the Saturn. It's designed to be easy to use, even if you don't know music theory. You can connect a MIDI keyboard and play piano lessons right on your Saturn. It also has a sequencer function for more advanced music creation. The screenshots show the software interface with piano roll notation and some minigames. Lastly, there's Night Truth, the third installment in a digital comic series focusing on paranormal mysteries. This one's about a series of strange events and disappearances, and the story unfolds as the protagonists try to solve the mystery. The screenshots are panels from the digital comic, showing characters in dramatic scenes and dialogue boxes. This page is all about the game 3 Dirty Dwarves. It's being advertised as an action RPG, where item collection is a big deal, perfect for players who love looting. The game's combat is described as semi-action, meaning it's not turn-based but also not full-on action. Apparently, the type of weapon you have changes how you attack, which is a cool RPG touch. The story is quite unique. These 3 dwarves are actually from another dimension, and they've come to our world to help kids. The dungeons in the game are said to change shape every time you enter, keeping things fresh. What's really interesting is that weapons in this game are all sports equipment. We're talking bowling balls and baseball bats to beat up monsters. You can play solo or with up to 3 players simultaneously. The game even has special team attacks you can do in multiplayer. The screenshots show some in-game action, including a dungeon scene and a very quirky baseball field stage with monsters. It looks like a pretty fun and chaotic action game with a unique twist. The reviewer seems to think the sports equipment weapons are a highlight and the multiplayer aspect is a big draw. This page features 2 games. First up is Full Call Mini 4 WD Super Factory, a simulation game where you build and customize Mini 4 WD cars. It's all about tweaking settings to get your car just right for races. You can adjust various parts, view your car in 3Ds from any angle, and even create your own racetracks. The game seems to be based on the Let's & Go manga and anime, letting you participate in races and customize your cars in detail. They're really emphasizing the tuning and setting aspects of Mini 4WD, like adjusting length, width, height, and using different gears and tires. There's even a hands-on tutorial section showing you how to modify your Mini 4WD and get started with setting up your machine in the game. The bottom half of the page is about Kyan Kyan Bunny Extra, a love adventure game, and it's the latest in the Kyan Kyan Bunny series. This one is for the Saturn, and it's apparently a port of a PC game with improved graphics and full voice acting. The story revolves around a protagonist who needs to gather 7 star fragments from 7 girls to help the main heroine, Swati, who is in trouble. It looks like a romantic comedy-style game with multiple cute girls and events involving flowers. The page highlights the Hara Hara Doki Doki love adventure aspect and shows screenshots of the female characters, including Swati and 2 other girls named Kudu Ayana and Aoyama Misaki. This page dives into the world of Macross, Do You Remember Love? It seems they are previewing a new Macross game. They mention the game aims to recreate special systems and famous scenes from the movie within the game. We get introduced to some key characters, like Roy Fokker, who pilots a Valkyrie and is described as a skilled pilot, Max, who is also a Valkyrie pilot in the Skull Squadron, and Misa Hayase, who is in charge of the Valkyrie squadrons. There's a section highlighting the game's progress, stating it's 60% complete. The reviewer mentions the graphics for each stage are mostly done, and they are in the final stages of adjustment. They are saying that Macross fans and newcomers alike will enjoy it, calling it a must-see game. The page also gives a bit of the Macross universe background, starting in 1999, when a giant alien battleship crashed on Earth, leading to a massive global war, and the eventual creation of the SDF-1 Macross. It sets the scene for a story about humanity facing its destiny because of this alien technology and conflict. This page delves into the variable fighter fighting system, likely still within the Macross Do You Remember Love context we saw on the last page. It highlights the strategic depth of battles, noting enemies appear in the foreground and background, requiring tactical play beyond just attacking the closest foe. We get a breakdown of the battle screen interface with labels A through F. A is the shield gauge, B the overall gauge, C points out the player's fighter, D is the bomber stock, E shows micro-missile lock-on status, and F represents the gun pod's overheat gauge. The page then discusses the change system and weapon, which is central to Macross games. It details the 3 Valkyrie forms, Fighter for speed in the air, Batroid for ground combat, and Garwalk as a hybrid mode. Each form has strengths and weaknesses for different situations and enemy types. Weapon types are also explored. Weapon Type 1 showcases the standard gun pod with auto-search Vulcan cannons, activated by pressing the fire button twice. Weapon Type 2 describes the gun pod's charged Vulcan attack, micro-missiles for locking onto multiple targets, and bombers, which are powerful bombs launched forward to inflict large area damage after a set distance. Screenshots demonstrate these weapons and transformations in action. The reviewer seems to be excited about the strategic elements and the faithful recreation of the variable fighter system from Macross. This page continues the coverage of Macross, Do You Remember Love? We're looking at the game's opening sequence and the first phase, set on South Eteria Island. The opening new movie section describes a dramatic start where the space carrier Prometheus is patrolling, but its radar detects a massive enemy attack. Skull Squadron is scrambled, but tragically, the mothership is overwhelmed and destroyed. Despite the mothership's destruction, the Valkyrie pilots continue their mission to protect civilians who are evacuating on the SDF-1 Macross. Moving into Phase 1 South Eteria Island, which is an original scenario for the game, we see Skull Squadron deployed to the island, which is already under attack and damaged. The mission involves engaging enemy ground forces, and Skull Squadron is launched to combat them. Players will face increasing waves of enemies, including powerful battle pods. If you succeed in defeating the initial wave, you're alerted to an even larger enemy force, and the island starts shaking, suggesting a boss battle is imminent. The page specifically points out the Inans or Regult as the boss enemy for this stage, a powerful enemy battle pod that's tougher than standard units. It mentions that the game visually represents these events directly on the gameplay screen itself, showing South Eteria Island under attack, with Regult battle pods appearing as the stage progresses. The Macross. Do you remember Love? Game's later phases are detailed, starting with Titan, where the Macross flees Titan for Earth. Lin Minmei's songs offer solace amidst constant enemy attacks. Players experience dramatic battles, including controlling missile guidance, and must manage supplies vital to the Macross's survival. The game introduces the Valkyrie's Jurwalk mode, enhancing ground combat. Phase 3. In the Macross, features an invasion by Zentradi forces within the Macross, with Minmei and Kaifun fleeing. The Zentradi are bewildered by the sight of human relationships. The Macross transforms for powerful space battles, showcasing its offensive and defensive strength. The Boy Meets Girl section hints at a crucial moment between Hikaru and Minmei. This page is focused on the upcoming SEGA Saturn game Langrisser IV. It's a preview of the game, stating it's at 50% completion. The page highlights that Langrisser IV is getting closer to release, and that compared to previous titles, the system has changed and the game is even more interesting. The developers from Careersoft, 1997, and Langrisser team present the game. They mention a new system called JPS and ask if users who played the game show version understood it. The headline emphasizes that the veil of mystery is finally lifted, as they have obtained the latest room. The article boasts about the grand story, charming characters, high-quality graphics, and the use of famous voice actors, building upon the popularity of Langrisser 2.1. It mentions that while the room doesn't have sound or battle scenes fully implemented yet, scenarios up to the second one are playable, giving a good sense of the game's atmosphere. They encourage readers to feel it. 2 character portraits are shown. Giselov, described as a strategist general, and Serena, a female general who serves Wheeler, with a dignified and mature personality. Screenshots show in-game scenes, one appearing to be an interior shot with characters, and another showing a world map, both showcasing the game's graphical style. This page dives deeper into the game system of Langrisser IV. It's titled Game System and focuses on battle preparations before the battle, explaining how the game setup works before you jump into combat. Similar to Langrisser 2i, you'll be visiting shops to buy weapons and armor, and setting up your units with skills. The interface has been refreshed for easier viewing, and the data saving system is still being finalized. Moving on to movement and battle, the article highlights that the system is different from previous Langrisser titles. Commanders and soldiers now move and fight independently. Strategic thinking and positioning are key, and the AI will test your tactical skills. The game is still in development, with adjustments likely to be made before release, but they're confident about the direction they are heading with Langrisser IV. Scenario 1 starts in Gotharl Village, kicking off the rank IV scenario. Lord Giselov is demanding heavy taxes, leading the villagers to fight back. You, as the main character Landius, along with Ricky, will get involved in this conflict, and the drama unfolds. Scenario 2 shows a different scene, where Rachel and Sages are being pursued by Giselov's forces to seize the sacred crystals. Landius and his party encounter Ranford's army and must escape. Healers will be crucial in this scenario, as they seem to be facing tough odds. This page showcases Sky Target for the SEGA Saturn, highlighting the Saturn-exclusive ranking mode. It emphasizes that this mode lets you choose any stage to play, offering a different experience from the arcade version, and allows players to hone their skills. The page introduces the 8 stages available in the ranking mode. Mission 1, Blue Sky Echoing Explosions, is described as the initial mission, but surprisingly difficult. It features large battleships and ground-based attacks, requiring careful maneuvering, especially in coastal areas. The boss is a huge battleship called Hellbelt, equipped with Vulcan cannons and missiles. Mission 2, Death Howls in the Sea of Clouds, is set in a heavy cloud cover. Visibility is poor, making enemy encounters and attacks more dangerous. The boss is a massive fortress-type battleship called Tall Wall, armed with a powerful laser launcher. The page mentions that missiles are ineffective against it, and emphasizes the need for skillful laser attacks. The article also touches on the mission select screen, showing selectable missions, and a results screen showcasing performance stats like hit rate and score. It seems the game encourages replayability to unlock more stages and improve rankings. Sky Target's ranking mode missions escalate in difficulty. Mission 3, Deep Valley Trial, presents a challenging ground battle and a transforming boss. Mission 4, Night City High-Rise Buildings, features waves of enemies and the helicopter boss Vashura, utilizing heat-seeking missiles. Mission 5, Ambush from the Forest, set in a jungle, introduces the flying battleship Franberg. Mission 6, Vertical Drop Dogfight, focuses on vertical combat against the missile boss Scepter. Mission 7 and 8 revisit earlier stages. Death Calling Deep Valley again, ups the ante with Harsanil 2, while Night Battle in the Dark Flames of War again, pits players against an upgraded Vashura 2 in the city, testing players' skills with increased intensity. This page showcases Sea Bass Fishing 2, boasting about its incredibly realistic sea fishing experience. The game emphasizes realism and gameplay, offering beautiful graphics, intuitive controls, and realistic environments, all aiming to recreate the thrill of sea bass fishing. The page highlights several features, including diverse fishing locations, detailed lure selections, and the exciting fight with the fish once hooked. It mentions the game accurately simulates fishing rod actions and fish movements, creating an active and engaging fishing experience. There's even a cooking mode where you can prepare the fish you catch. The page notes that all the fishing equipment in the game is based on real Daiwa products, adding another layer of authenticity. A maker comment section includes a fun dialogue where someone expresses their love for sushi and grilled sea bass, indicating the cooking aspect will be enjoyable. The reviewer seems impressed by the game's realism and engaging gameplay, particularly for both beginners and experienced players looking for a realistic fishing simulation on the SEGA Saturn. This page delves deeper into Sea Bass Fishing 2 and suggests different ways to enjoy the game, emphasizing player freedom. It highlights 3 main playstyles. First, it talks about collecting various fish. The game boasts 18 different types of fish to catch, encouraging players to try and catch them all as a collection goal. They hint that some rare fish are included, making the completion aspect even more engaging. Next, it discusses aiming for the top of the tournament. This section presents the tournament mode as a more orthodox way to play, suggesting it's challenging and requires serious practice to master. It mentions setting up conditions for the tournament to make it even more interesting. Lastly, the page introduces Dream Size Challenges. This mode focuses on catching incredibly large sea bass, even bigger than realistically recorded sizes. The game supervisor, Masami Murakoshi, is quoted saying that while real-world sea bass are around 1.2 meters, the game lets you catch even larger ones, bringing a dream element to fishing and making it a fun game experience. The page also showcases descriptions of different fish you can catch: Japanese sea bass, hirsuzuki, tuna, mehimaguro, pufferfish, fugu, and amberjack, buri. It highlights features of each, like the tuna being fast and the pufferfish being able to inflate. It ends with a picture of a massive dream-size Japanese sea bass, emphasizing the scale of fish you can aim for in the game. This page is all about the upcoming SEGA Saturn simulation game called Ebarouge. It's highlighted as a highly anticipated title, especially for its beautiful animation and voice acting. The game is described as a school-based romance simulation, where you play as the main character, Kimi, experiencing school life from age 9 to 16. The page details 2 phases of gameplay: age 9 and age 14. In the age 9 section, it talks about elementary school life from 9 to 10 years old, focusing on friendships and initial interactions. The age 14 section covers junior high school from 14 to 16, emphasizing the sensitive period of adolescence. The game's storyline progresses from elementary school through to high school graduation. It mentions encountering friends and rivals, engaging in studies and club activities, and experiencing various school events. The game also features elements of magic and combat, with 10 different categories of items implemented in the game system. Choices you make in conversations and actions you take will dramatically change the protagonist's life. The page includes screenshots and character art, showcasing the anime style and the different age stages of the game. It seems to emphasize the emotional depth and engaging simulation aspects of Eberrouge. The top section also includes a completion rate of 99% and mentions a planned release in May with a price of 6,800 yen, presented as a 2-disc set. There's a quote from a manufacturer's comment, expressing excitement for players to experience the world of Eberrouge. This page continues with details about the upcoming simulation game, Eberrouge. Focusing on the voice cast and related audio creeds, we get a look at the voice actor list, which meticulously details each character, their gender, age stage in the game, whether it's the earlier or later part of the story, their personality type, and who voices them. It's a pretty extensive list, showing the breadth of characters in the game, and the effort put into voice acting. Below the character list, there are portraits showcasing some of the main characters like Noisu, Ku, Castell, Felden, and others, both in their age 9 and age 14 forms. This visually reinforces the game's progression through different age stages and how characters develop. Then there's a section promoting Eberrouge CD World, highlighting audio seeds related to the game. It mentions that these creds aim to expand the Eberrouge world beyond just the game, offering drama tracks, opening and ending themes, image songs, photo clips, and promotional videos to enjoy visually and orally. They've released several volumes of these creds at 2,913 yen each, published by King Records, offering more ways to immerse yourself in the Eberrouge universe. This page is all about the Sega Saturn game, Those Who Hunt Elves. It starts by introducing the game as a Saturn title based on the popular anime and manga series, boasting original elements and newly recorded voice acting. The tagline is quite quirky, mentioning loving Japan, to return to lovely Japan, one skin peel at a time is also okay. The page outlines the story, where 3 people from modern Japan are suddenly transported to a fantasy world. These individuals are Junpei Ryudo, a martial artist, Airi Komiyama, a graceful office lady, and Junpei Inoue, a military geek high school girl. Their mission is to return to their original world, and they're doing so by searching for elves with body paint, which they believe is the key to stripping off a spell. The page also recommends checking out the anime and manga versions of Those Who Hunt Elves, highlighting them as enjoyable in their own right. A key feature of the game is its choice-based story system. It shows an example where you have to decide to resolve, escape, or shout during a scene with skeletons. Depending on your choices, the story branches out, and certain events and dialogue will change. Finally, there's a section about a bonus CD that comes with the game. This CD is packed with content, including voice actor talk collections, character voice collections, answering machine messages, and previews. It seems like a substantial bonus for fans of the series. The text details 2 chapters of a game based on Those Who Hunt Elves. Chapter 1, Birth, Invincible Party, features Garbera, a dog-like character, possibly in danger. Gameplay involves careful choices, as elves may attack if provoked. Garbera appears intimidating but is actually timid. Chapter 2, Choice, Red and Blue Secret Medicine, centers on Dial's betrayal. Dial forms a self-defense group instead of directly protecting the town from skeletons. She seeks to defeat monsters using a secret medicine from Celtia, despite neither knowing its effects. Hey, wearing a Dokuro marked t-shirt adds a comedic element. The chapter poses the question of which medicine is correct, and if Dial will ultimately be defeated. Wara 2 Wars is a Sega Saturn grand-scale army battle game where players compete to conquer continents. It's a territory-conquering simulation where controlling all 10 major continents is the ultimate goal. Players must strategically deploy armies comprised of diverse character types across various terrains. Gameplay involves taking territories, collecting taxes, recruiting soldiers, purchasing cards, and issuing commands. The game features characters like the Space Wanderer Grey, the Primeval Woman Amazoness, the Proud Knight, and others, each with unique stats. The developer encourages players to enjoy the game without excessive strategic overthinking. Released on April 25th for 5,800 yen, it's a single-player simulation game. This page delves deeper into the gameplay of Wara 2 Wars. Turn 3 focuses on contact and battle. When you move your troops and encounter an enemy army on the map, a battle begins automatically. The strength of your units is determined by their level, with levels ranging from IE to Circa. Level C is the starting rank for newly recruited soldiers, and leveling up your units costs money. Higher level units are stronger and more effective in combat. The page also explains battle tactics using cards. Cards are items used during battles to give you an advantage. There are two types: formation cards to boost your army's attack power before a battle, and Guardian God cards to provide combat support during the fight. You can buy cards from merchants that appear at the beginning of your turn if you have enough funds. Turn 4 is about conquest completion and moving to the next continent. After defeating all enemy forces on a continent, that land becomes yours. You can then advance to an adjacent continent. Your veteran troops will carry over to the next continent, but if you're short on funds, some soldiers might leave. After conquering a continent, you get to choose which unit type to replenish your army with, offering options like Ninja, Kangaroo, and Cossack. The ultimate goal remains conquering all continents. Fantastep, a completed adventure game described as a fairy tale picture book for adults, is set for release on April 25th and supports the SEGA multi-controller. The game immerses players in a picture book world, inviting exploration and decision-making. Gameplay centers on observing, thinking, and choosing actions directly, without text commands. Players can look for clues, use hands to interact with objects, listen for hidden sounds, use legs for movement, and talk to engage with characters and objects. The game emphasizes that player choices drive character actions and item use. Different actions, like opening a door, can also reflect the player character's personality, influencing the game world. Fantastep encourages thoughtful play and emphasizes the impact of player choices. This page showcases upcoming SEGA Saturn coming soon soft titles. It heavily features the adventure game Fantastep, describing it as a festival country fairy tale. The game follows a boy who finds himself in a picture book world and needs to find his way back home. We see screenshots depicting his journey in this strange land, including a chaotic scene with a runaway train and a talking bird character who seems to be involved. The story expands into an underground country where the Flower Clan is in trouble and a princess has been kidnapped, further highlighting the boy's quest to help and escape this world. The page reiterates Fantastep's unique gameplay, where you directly control the character's actions like looking, using hands, legs, and talking, making choices that affect the story. Moving on to another title called Next Land. Quote, "This game seems to be about a boy who falls from the clouds into a new world. He's on a mission to find cloud seeds and fix a broken cloud bridge, driven by the desire to reunite with his family and loved ones." The page emphasizes the emotional core of the story and poses the question, do you have the courage to hear the story? Suggesting a deep narrative experience. Mr. Bones, a SEGA Saturn action game, features a skeletal protagonist battling through bone-filled stages. Gameplay centers on Bibi attacks, enemy takedowns, and reaching level goals. Players collect bone parts from defeated foes, which can be used for puzzles involving assembling bone silhouettes. Combat includes ground and foot attacks, and dodging enemy bone waves is essential. Losing bones due to damage adds a strategic layer. Music is a key component, showcasing Bones as a guitarist and drummer, with technical riffs and rhythm-based gameplay. The game includes musical sequences of Bones singing. The early stages suggest later levels will be more challenging. The developer, impressed by the Tokyo Game Show reception, describes the game as both comical and cool, with a release date of June 28th for 5,800 yen. This page is focused on Angel Graffiti S, a romance simulation game for the SEGA Saturn, inviting players to dive into a vibrant 2-year high school life filled with love and learning. The game boasts enhanced event messages and updated character graphics compared to previous versions, promising deeper immersion. The page outlines key gameplay elements like schedule management, where you plan daily activities in 3 time slots, balancing studies and leisure. It also introduces club activities and part-time jobs as ways to earn money for dates and deepen relationships. Romantic dates are highlighted as a core feature, with locations like amusement parks and concert halls, emphasizing the importance of building affection with the girls. A section on Improved System for Easy Command Input explains that the Saturn version offers a more user-friendly interface compared to the PlayStation version, making it easier to navigate menus and execute commands for status checks, scheduling, phone calls with girls, and various activities. The game emphasizes monitoring the girl's affection level, which dynamically influences dialogue and date options, adding depth to the relationship building. The article concludes by showcasing event animations that beautifully portray encounters with girls, depicting scenes of meeting characters like the heroine Tennoji Misato and other potential love interests, emphasizing the game's focus on visually engaging and emotionally resonant interactions. This page introduces two Sega Saturn puzzle games from the Deiji series, Tin Toy and Aqua World. Tin Toy is described as a jigsaw puzzle game featuring nostalgic tin toy designs. It highlights a completion rate display and suggests it's an enjoyable puzzle experience. The game offers puzzles with 72 and 108 pieces. Aqua World is the other title, focusing on assembling jigsaw puzzles of beautiful tropical fish. It also offers 72 and 108-piece puzzles. The page mentions the background music as a highlight, becoming more elaborate as you place pieces correctly, creating a kind of orchestra. It also points out a movie editing feature in Aqua World, allowing players to create and enjoy their own original BGM for the puzzle game. Both games are positioned as easy to pick up and play puzzle games for the Sega Saturn. This page is a complete guide to Sega Saturn software that has been released. It seems to be a feature section aiming to thoroughly enjoy Sega Saturn games. The image shows two sports cars racing on a winding road, suggesting a focus on racing games within this guide. The text highlights that this guide is designed to help players deeply enjoy release software, providing useful information and strategy tips. Featured within this guide are mentions of games on the following pages: Advanced World War, Sennen Taikoku no Kubu on page 108, which is likely about grand strategy or empire building; Jante, Battle Cosplayer on page 110, suggesting a mahjong game with a cosplay theme; and King of Fighters 97, mentioned as King the Spirits 2 on page 112. This page sets the stage for a detailed exploration of various Sega Saturn titles. This page is a strategy guide for the Sega Saturn game Advanced World War, Demise of the Thousand-Year Empire. The page focuses on a specific map called Operation Ashika and provides tips on how to conquer it. The scenario is set during the Second World War, putting you in command of the German forces attempting to land on mainland Britain. The guide highlights that this particular map is considered challenging, even amongst the difficult scenarios in the game focused on the battle against England. The objective is to capture 3 locations marked A, B, and C on the map. 2 of these, Portsmouth and Dover, are ports and can be captured by naval units. However, Brighton, the 3rd location, is inland and can only be taken by bombardment. The guide suggests a strategy focusing on naval warfare. It advises to first target Dover, which is closest to the German starting position, location A. Then, the next target is Portsmouth, location B. Finally, Brighton at location C should be bombarded to secure victory. The page details the German and British unit deployments on the map, showing the types of warships each side possesses, such as the Bismarck and Scharnhorst for Germany, and Nelson for Britain. It emphasizes the importance of using submarines effectively, as they are powerful in naval battles but vulnerable to air attacks. The guide also mentions the key to victory is understanding the movement of the enemy submarine fleet. The next page continues the strategy guide for Advanced World War, Demise of the Thousand-Year Empire. It highlights 2 more maps: map number 10, England Home Islands Battle, and map No. 55, White Russia Offensive. For the England Home Islands Battle, the key is London, urban warfare, and fighting in confined spaces. The stage is challenging due to city areas and narrow battlegrounds, requiring quick unit deployments as enemies gather in these areas. Moving on to White Russia Offensive, map number 55, the objective is to capture the city of Gomel. The strategy here emphasizes balancing infantry and tanks, and effectively utilizing air power. The guide mentions Gomel as the central point, and suggests deploying units to point B on the map, and coordinating air power for a quick capture. Finally, the page touches on naval combat with a section titled German Submarine Squadron Crushes British Submarine Squadron. It points out that historically German submarines were weaker than British ones. The game suggests using smaller German submarines to harass the main British fleets, attacking enemy fleets in a sequence, and using air attacks on submarines, implying this is a viable strategy to overcome the odds. Jante Battle Cosplayer for the Sega Saturn is a mahjong game with a unique twist. Winning lets you unlock cosplay costumes. The game caters to beginners with a basic mahjong tutorial covering tile types, hand formation, and reach declarations. The story game mode features 15 characters, each with unique playstyles and difficulty levels. Player descriptions are provided, like Venus's strong Riichi game, Akimoto Haruka's defensive strategy, Yuriko's aggressive play, and France's deceptive tactics. Conversely, characters like Gloria and Taunton are presented as weaker, relying on luck or making frequent mistakes. Other characters include Yu, a balanced player, and Miki, who focuses on quick wins. The diverse roster offers varied gameplay experiences, appealing to different skill levels and preferences. Jante Battle Cosplayer features two primary mahjong gameplay modes, Rouge Magic and Vipe Member Club. Rouge Magic pits players against female characters with varied playing styles and difficulty levels, such as the annoying but weak Fujimura Mana and the strong Okamoto Ayako. Vipe Member Club presents characters like the balanced Suzuki Miyuki and the formidable Shinokuji Sayuri, whose defeat unlocks costumes and the final battle. A panel mode is a bingo-style puzzle game where players earn points by clearing mahjong-style lines on an 8x8 grid, unlocking further content. Players can also unlock movie player content, including interviews and scene features, with a premium disc offering bonus making-of content. The game rewards progress with unlockable swimsuit scenes and a call to enjoy the game to change your mood. This page delves into King of the Spirits 2, focusing on strategies for winning the King Battle mode and choosing the best car for your playstyle. The page advises mastering grip driving for consistent wins, especially in Course A, which features hairpin turns where controlled braking is crucial. It suggests focusing on grip strength in car setup. The article then guides players on selecting a car that matches their driving preferences from 5 types available from the start. It emphasizes that each car handles differently in areas like handling, acceleration, and top speed. It suggests players should choose based on feel rather than strictly relying on stats, as all cars can win races. The page details 5 car types, labeled Type A to Type E, each accompanied by an image and stats. These stats include PS per revolution per minute, displacement, CC, gear type, and top speed, although these are presented visually and not detailed in the text itself. Type A is described as beginner-friendly, with emphasis on handling. Type EB is a light car good for cornering. Type EC is a balanced father car. Typed is a powerful torque-focused car. And Type E is a lightweight sports car with exceptional cornering, potentially the fastest of the 5. This guide focuses on course strategies for King of the Spirits 2 within the King Battle mode. Area A, steep curves in succession, emphasizes smooth cornering techniques like the out-and-out line. Area B, run without killing speed, advises maintaining speed on downhill stretches and light acceleration for tighter turns. Area C, hairpin curves galore, in a tunnel setting, again stresses out-and-out lines and accelerator brake control for hairpins, especially uphill ones. The text then analyzes rival car types. Type EG, powerful touring wagon good for beginners. Type EJ, balanced father car with good handling. And Type OL, light FF car, excellent for cornering, recommended for night races. Detailed stats are provided. Finally, it previews future courses. Course B is filled with tight turns, while Course C is extremely difficult with steep inclines and declines. The Course King is unlocked by beating 3 rivals, with the Type I mid-engine car, high output, quick handling, lightweight, recommended for consistent wins. King of the Spirits 2 features several training modes to hone your driving skills. Time Attack focuses on speed, allowing you to race against your ghost car. Free Driving offers a relaxed environment to practice, with scenic views and driving advice. Drycon is a drift contest, judging your performance across 4 categories using cars from different types, Type EC, E, J, K, or O, across 3 distinct courses. Versus Battle enables head-to-head races with friends, where car setup is crucial. Free Battle pits you against AI opponents to learn racing techniques. The Advice feature provides in-race tips on braking, cornering, and optimal racing lines. Finally, For Car Maniacs offers a magazine section and photo contest, enhancing the experience for car enthusiasts. This page is all about the Sakura Wars merchandise corner that Sega had set up. It's shouting, "Sakura Wars Goods Extravaganza," and promises the latest info. Apparently, at a recent Tokyo toy show, Sega had a booth dedicated to Sakura Wars goods, like a dream come true for fans. The page highlights a Sakura Goods corner within the Sega booth itself. They're showcasing the real model series figures of Sakura Shinguji and Lee Koran, mentioning that these are high quality and even prototype versions were on display, showing off just how much they were catering to serious fans. Then there's a section on Tsukuda Hobby's booth, which is described as an unexpected hole in the wall, with a mania level high, meaning it's incredibly focused for dedicated fans. They're showing off Sakura action dolls, which are posable, and a mini character collection. It mentions these minifigures are keychains and come in a set of 8. Finally, there's a quick mention of garage kits, specifically of Yuna. Overall, it seems like Sega really went all out to showcase a wide variety of Sakura Wars goodies at this event, from detailed figures to posable dolls and even garage kits, showing just how popular Sakura Wars was and how much merchandise there was to collect. Battle Ball is a multiplayer action game featuring weaponized cars, offering chaotic gameplay and extensive customization. Players can choose from 6 vehicle types, including buggies and hovercraft, with a setting mode for further personalization. The game supports up to 12 players in versus mode and includes a story mode where players unlock powerful boss vehicles. 3 key boss characters are highlighted, each with a unique high-grade machine: Tearclaws with the Bullvates, strength; Arnold with the Dolly Yates, speed; and Cutter Yamada with the Matsukaze MK2, power. Damage impacts vehicle armor and functionality, and weapon/armor durability is calculated. Vehicle coloring is customizable through a button-based cycling system. The game emphasizes unpredictable item drops and the fun of competitive battles. This page is all about player customization in Battle Ball, showing off 3 unique machine setups created by members of the development team. First up is the TLK Type B4 model, built by planner Uchida Satoshi. This machine is geared towards quick handling and power, focusing on weapons with minimal recoil like the 105mm AP rounds. It uses napalm for close quarters combat, homing Firebird missiles, and a shield for defense. Next, we have the Kappa #Axe, crafted by programmer Komabayashi Kazuhiko. This setup is all about drifting, designed as a drift machine. It's got a light front and heavy rear for drifting balance, with remote bombs for setting traps. Lastly, there's the Ariga-style tank car, made by character designer Ariga Hitoshi. This one is all about firepower and tank-like resilience. It's packed with weapons, prioritizing shields and dash for defense, and focusing on overwhelming close-range combat. The page also has a call for readers to submit their Battle Ball battle reports. They are asking for reports on players' machines, their settings, and battle strategies, all for a chance to win some cool prizes. They want comments under 150 characters, and encourage teams to send in photos and exciting stories to boost their chances. The deadline is April 25th. And they need contact info like address, name, age, and phone number if you want to enter. This page showcases a collection of ELF brand goods, particularly a lower-class student pin collection featuring 13 cute girl characters designed by Kadoya Aya-sensei, who also drew the character illustrations. These pins come in a special case and are priced at 4,800 yen, slated for release in May. Kadoya-sensei shares a comment about enjoying drawing these 4 Koma-style character pins. The page also talks about the current magazine cover illustration, which features cherry blossoms and was specially created. They are even considering making flower hairpins as merchandise in the future. Tama's Whisper section announces that the release date for Dokusei Classmates is coming soon after April, and mentions that commercials for the game will be airing on TV. There's also an Elf Goods mail order section, providing instructions for ordering by mail. A disclaimer states that content is restricted to those 18 and older, and promotes Shangri-La 2 as a significant upgrade to the original Shangri-La, emphasizing simulation elements and improved graphics. Finally, there's a giveaway where 3 lucky people can win Shangri-La 2 tapes by sending in postcards with their feedback. Welcome to Kadoya Aya World presents 2 short manga strips. Black Ribbon Shan humorously depicts a girl's aversion to food. Work it, Uncle focuses on a man mistaken for being poor and solicited for surveys, who then encounters the girl from the first strip, leading to a comedic exchange at Shinjuku Station. The girl becomes strangely fixated on something the man possesses, causing a minor scene. The page also includes a panel criticizing the consumption tax. This episode marks the series' final installment, with a cryptic note about character graphics and a total scan, suggesting a possible game or inside joke connection. This page announces the exciting news of 3 highly anticipated game ports decided for Saturn. Capcom fans are in for a treat. The featured games are tentatively titled Dungeons & Dragons Collection and Street Fighter Collection, alongside another game called Scarlet City. The Dungeons & Dragons Collection section discusses the enthusiastic fan response, with many postcards requesting these games. Reviewers note its Saturn-like feel and typical D&D gameplay style, and mentions fan requests for ports of D&D 2 and Tower of Doom. The Street Fighter Collection section highlights Street Fighter 02 and the popularity of Street Fighter 02 Alpha, mentioning it's a hit with male players, and talks about a third game in the collection that is also anticipated. The balance of characters is praised, and the enthusiasm of X-fans is noted. It's confirmed that Scarlet City is also being ported, evoking a sense of nostalgia with its simple gameplay system. There's also an advert for a Street Fighter 2i video CD, which includes introductions to characters and the game system, developer interviews, and Capcom staff insights into character traits and strategies. It's stated to be on sale from April 23rd. A Saturn port request ranking is shown, listing the top 7 games fans are asking for, including Alien vs. Predator, Punisher, Capcom World, Burio Kisogi, 1941, Wonder 3, Eggerrug Egzes, Willow, Muscle Bomber, and Battle of the Wolves. Finally, there's a present section announcing a Street Fighter 2i secret file giveaway. Capcom made a significant showing at the 1997 Tokyo Game Show, primarily focusing on industry insiders on the first day. The event, titled Ask the Producers, showcased a variety of games across multiple platforms. Titles like Mega Man X4, Mega Man 8, and Resident Evil 1 and 2 were featured on SEGA Saturn and PlayStation. PC gamers saw Resident Evil, Mega Man X4, and Super Puzzle Fighter 2X. Arcade highlights included Marvel Superheroes, Street Fighter variations, and Mega Man 2, The Power Fighters. A major announcement was the summer release of Mega Man X4, coinciding with the Mega Man series' 10th anniversary. The booth included gameplay screenshots and a Rockman history display. Producers emphasized Mega Man's popularity and their goal of delivering a satisfying experience. Additional arcade content and interviews with producers about the Mega Man focus rounded out the Capcom presence. This page highlights Capcom's presence at the Tokyo Game Show, focusing on Sega Saturn titles like Resident Evil and Marvel Superheroes. The top section discusses Saturn Biohazard, Resident Evil, emphasizing that the Saturn version is very satisfying and comparable to the PlayStation version in terms of quality. There's also talk about graphical improvements and loading times being addressed for the Saturn release. Next, Technically New Trials talks about Marvel Superheroes for Saturn, highlighting efforts to enhance the arcade port. The reviewers seem impressed with the graphical fidelity achieved on Saturn, making it very close to the arcade experience. The page also features a section called Tokyo Game Show Atmosphere Report, with a cartoon illustration, likely capturing the general vibe of the event. Screenshots of Marvel Superheroes are showcased under the banner, "This is the latest Saturn version" screen, displaying in-game action. Other games briefly mentioned include Quizna na Iroh Dreams Rainbow Town Mystery, EADS, an adventure quiz game, EATS 2, and Super Adventure Rockman, each with a small info box and screenshot. Finally, there's a call to action for people who missed the show to check out Capcom's homepage for more information, indicating an early online presence for Capcom. This page continues Capcom's coverage, diving into upcoming Sega Saturn releases and arcade titles. We're getting a Street Fighter Collection, tentative title, for Saturn, which is slated to include Street Fighter Alpha 2 and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, with a third mystery title yet to be revealed. Exciting stuff for fighting game fans. The page shows screenshots from both Street Fighter Alpha 2 and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, highlighting the Super Combo system from Turbo. There's also a focus on the Dungeons & Dragons Collection, tentative title, an action game collection featuring Tower of Doom and Shadows over Mystara. It looks like Capcom is really pushing to get these ports right for Saturn. The magazine mentions Vampire Savior is undergoing final location testing after a previous test wasn't well received. They've made adjustments and are confident in the game now. And for arcade action, Battle Circuit, a horizontal scrolling action game, is planned for release in April and will be playable at arcades soon. Apparently, there's talk of a limited edition for one of these releases, possibly bundled with something called Holoka, which seems to be creating some buzz and confusion amongst the magazine staff featured on the page. Looks like next issue will have more info on Battle Circuit and Vampire Savior, and will be Osaka-focused too. This page dives into SEGA AMR&D Department Number 1 and features The House of the Dead, with a section titled Dynamite. It's a strategy guide focused on Stage 1 routing. They're calling it a Stage 1 route branching great strategy. The guide explains that the House of the Dead is all about branching paths, and this article will show players all the route options for Stage 1, from the mansion entrance to the boss, Chariot. They mention that the mansion's initial stage is simple, but there are many branching patterns, urging players to try them out if they get the chance. They detail two main branches. Branch 1, Researchers being devoured, which is right at the mansion entrance where you decide whether to help researchers or not, and Branch 2, Researchers on the bridge, where you help more researchers being attacked by zombies on a bridge. Failing to save them means going to the underground waterway route. They say the mansion route is easier, while the underground route is for higher scores. There's a check section highlighting a Sophie event at the fountain. Apparently at the fountain, Sophie appears if you go around the scope-shaped road, and this is a rare scene. There's also a From Staff comment, where they talk about Stage 1 being designed with branching paths in mind from the beginning. They suggest players try different routes, and they talk about enjoying motion capture during development, and how they are still fine-tuning things. This guide details branching paths in Stage 1 of The House of the Dead. Branching options include Entrance Hall Monkey, influencing staircase access, second floor veranda with zombie attacks, Underground Researcher, where saving researchers yields rewards, and Staircase Rubble, which unlocks the veranda. Branch 6, Underground Hole, navigates falling hazards and advises strategic movement based on collapses, potentially leading to the courtyard. A health check reminds players to consider health before falling. The guide concludes with the Stage 1 boss, Chariot. It warns of its scythe attacks and advises targeting the head or body for faster defeat, circling the boss to attack during openings, and retreating. Concentrating attacks and avoiding excessive damage is recommended to prevent it from enraging. This page is from the AM2 Research and Development Department section of the magazine, volume 49, and is titled AM2 Research Headquarters Road to Battle Koshien. It's an interview with two people, Tsukamoto Manabu and Kara Tomoya, discussing Battle Koshien. The interview seems to be about game balance and strategy, in what sounds like a competitive Virtua Fighter context. They are reflecting on the Morinaga Angel Cup, which was the first national tournament for Virtua Fighter 3. They discuss the high level of play and how players were showing incredible techniques. They also talk about incorporating throw escapes as an element of high-level play and how successful it was. The conversation moves to developing more fighting styles and strategies beyond just throws. They mention Korean and Taiwanese players developing unique step techniques, emphasizing that flying throws will continue to evolve. They believe there's still plenty of room for technical development in Virtua Fighter, especially regarding throwing and counter-throwing techniques. They also ponder what kind of battles Battle Koshien will bring, mentioning how information exchange has improved player levels. They anticipate even higher levels of play in the future, potentially with Korean and Taiwanese step techniques becoming more prevalent, leading to more complex offensive and defensive strategies. The interview concludes by noting that female players are also reaching high levels of play, and they look forward to future competitions. The page also lists contents, including Battle Koshien Road, Virtua Surfer, Virtua Striker 2, and Dream Game Rebirth. This page showcases Virtua Fighter 3 on the vocal, focusing on its theme song, Kimi ga inai yoru for you, which translates to Night Without You for You. The vocalist, Hikoyoshi Hideyuki, is interviewed and explains it's a ballad expressing Lion's loneliness and was chosen as the theme for the National Virtua Fighter 3 tournament. He mentions that the song's image and melody fit Virtua Fighter 3 perfectly, and that the development team is aiming to connect with the audience through musical advice or tips. A music video for the song was previewed at the Tokyo Game Show. There's a check! Announcement that the single is set to be released on June 18th. Coinciding with the video debut at the Tokyo Game Show, a humorous 4-panel manga featuring Hikoyoshi and another person is included, likely poking fun at the song or game-related topics. The page also features a section called AM2 Research Headquarters Information Bureau, focusing on Virtua Surf. An interview with Yum from AM2 Networker discusses game balance in Virtua Surf and touches upon Megamix, mentioning developers Suzuki Hiroshi and Okuda. Yume also mentions the Scud Race official guidebook and various gameplay mechanics within Virtua Surf. He also notes that the VF3 on the Vocal CD will be available for purchase daily at CD shops and also at the Virtua Fighter 3 National Tournament venue. This page is all about Virtua Striker 2 and exciting news about a 4th stadium being added to the game soon. It's presented as the latest scoop just before release, highlighting the 4 stadium types players can expect. The article details each stadium. The first match stadium, capable of holding a massive 1.7 million people and built into a mountainside with restaurants and shops. The second match stadium, a more modest 40,000 capacity arena located in a city park. The semi-final match stadium, a modern semi-transparent roofed stadium in a coastal industrial area, accommodating 56,000. And finally, the final match stadium, a legendary mega stadium with a colossal 870,000 capacity, featuring a huge arch roof and stone wall resembling the Colosseums. There's also a section with Mitsuyoshi Takeharu, the sound Tomdang, sound in charge, for Virtua Striker 2. He mentions that he's been involved since the original game and aimed for 2 to have even better sound. He talks about wanting to add depth and emotion to the game's sound, especially the goal scenes, and how they used DSP and sound direction techniques. He mentions the challenges and fun of creating sound effects for Virtua Striker and hopes players will enjoy the music in each stadium. The next page dives deeper into Virtua Striker 2, showcasing some cool new advancements. First up, they're really emphasizing the addition of height differences between players. Apparently, this wasn't just for visual flair. It actually impacts gameplay, affecting things like ball control and how matches play out. They've got screenshots highlighting this feature, showing how noticeable the height differences are on the pitch. Then there's a direction section, with an interview featuring Mr. Mitsufune Takashi, the director of Virtua Striker 2. He's talking about how they've ramped up the motion capture, claiming it's 10 times better than before. He mentions how they're focusing on making the player movements more natural and expressive, aiming for subtle details that players might not even consciously notice, but will enhance the overall realism. He wants players to really feel the difference in player abilities and see the height differences play out in the game's balance. There's also a section teasing what's coming soon. It sounds like development is in the final stretch, around 65–70% complete. They're still tweaking core elements like dribbling, running speed, and acceleration. They're even talking about the sound design, mentioning how they're refining goal sound effects and aiming for more impactful audio. They are working hard on adding a new semi-final stadium, which is described as looking really polished and detailed. They wrap up by telling us to wait until after Golden Week for more news, implying we'll be getting more info soon. This page reports on a special Game Dream Talk event held on April 5th at the Tokyo Game Show, featuring 4 leading game creators. The panel included Suzuki Yu from SEGA AM2, Okamoto Yoshiki from Capcom, and Nakamura Koichi from Chunsoft. They discussed their dreams in game development and shared insights into their creative processes. Suzuki Yu, known for Sega AM2 hits like Virtua Fighter and Daytona USA, talked about the secrets to creating hit games and the importance of challenging new technologies in game genres. He mentioned older titles like Puzzle and Action, Taunter, known internationally as Chain Reaction, as examples. Nakamura Koichi of Chunsoft, famous for the Dragon Quest series, spoke about the risks involved in developing new game genres and the desire to create something unique and engaging. Okamoto Yoshiaki from Capcom, known for the Resident Evil series, emphasized making games that developers themselves enjoy and valuing player feedback. He touched upon drawing inspiration from movies like Evangelion and Doraemon. The discussion also explored the balance between creating games for oneself versus for the market, and the constant drive to create the next big hit, or Baku game. Miyamoto Shigeru and Suzuki Yu discussed game development philosophies. Miyamoto prioritizes player enjoyment and interactive, movie-like experiences, focusing on how players will react. He sees potential in consoles like the Saturn, referencing Star Fox 64 as a prime example of achieving fun despite hardware limits. He also expressed interest in RPGs. Suzuki U, discussing Virtua Fighter 4, aims to push hardware, even the Saturn, to its limits, creating a graphical showcase. Both developers agree that making enjoyable games is crucial, regardless of their individual approaches. A news section also mentions Suzuki U and Okamoto Yoshiki's involvement in a Whoop Boost presentation, hinting at a racing game. This page is all about Virtualon. It's titled Cyber Troopers Virtualon Lite, and seems to be written by Suzuki Doitsu. The article is part of a series called Crossover and is volume 10. The writer is joking around, talking about how the game is called Virtualon, but also Millennium Empire, mentioning something about SoftBank and the Millennium Empire Strategy Guide, and even Panzer Leader. He seems to be suggesting the game is a bit too serious or complex, preferring something more light-hearted, and mentions wanting games with nyu-nyu and shiko-shiko sounds, perhaps implying the game sounds too metallic and serious with clang and karn sounds. He's making a joke comparing Virtualon to Panzer Leader, and asking if it's really necessary to be so intense. He finishes by saying, "Read Panzer Leader," sarcastically. Then, in a section called This Week's Virtualon, it shifts to talking about an apartment building, comparing it to living in a place where anyone can become Captain Okita, the captain from Space Battleship Yamato. It's describing modern apartment buildings in areas like Shinjuku, and comparing them to New York's Harlem in terms of density. They are described as flat iron building style and looking like shortcake. The buildings are compared to battleships, mentioning the ship-like imagery, and even the water tanks on the roof are seen as ship-like structures. They're rating the Virtualon degree of this apartment building as 20%, implying it's somewhat related to the game's aesthetic in a very loose, humorous way. This installment of Kato Hajime's Enthusiast Road humorously reviews the Daihatsu Midget 2, featuring Kato and Suzuki. They discuss the car's practicality, including its compact size, cargo capacity, dimensions, and price. 497,200 yen. While acknowledging its suitability for deliveries and personal use, they debate its comfort for two people and compare it to a fictional Barcharon, humorously arguing about which would win in a fight. Ultimately, the Midget is deemed superior in residential suitability and value. The page concludes with two news sections. The first solicits reader contributions and mentions popular Barcharon fan pages, along with an apology regarding a delayed announcement. The second section announces a premium must-see media mix, Grand Project Teleca, seeking submissions for a project involving telephone cards. The page is rounded out with a logo for SEGA AMR&D Department, Number 3 Rush, featuring a robotic character. This page covers the SEGA Saturn game Last Bronx, developed by SEGA AMR&D Department No. 3, and reports on the Tokyo Game Show 97 spring event. The developers discussed the Saturn version, addressing fan questions and graphic design choices. They were nearing completion, aiming for a summer release, and incorporating 30% of the arcade version's data. Additionally, a V-Cinema version was presented, using live actors to capture the game's action. The V-Cinema emphasized realistic weapon handling and fighting styles. It was scheduled for release around April 19th. Upcoming developments include a novel launching in July, a CD with the radio drama's theme song, and the radio drama itself, airing in April on various radio stations. This review previews several upcoming SEGA Saturn games, providing opinions from the Lady Users Group, Game Mania Group, and guest game writers. Miski Target received mixed reviews. The Lady Users Group enjoyed the gameplay, while Game Mania Group was unimpressed. Guest game writers criticized the graphics, particularly the water effects. The Crow was found enjoyable by the Lady Users Group for its actions. Game Mania Group and guest game writers both cited control issues and map design as drawbacks. Big Grade Down Tournament was universally criticized for its graphical downgrade from the arcade version. Reviewers felt it lacked impact and didn't surpass older titles like Afterburner. The review concludes with mixed impressions, highlighting the strengths and weaknesses of each game across various aspects. This page continues the game reviews, starting with Elf wo Karu Monotachi, known internationally as Elf Princess Rain. The Lady Users Group enjoyed it as a typical anime-style adventure game with good voice acting. However, the high rollers found it to be a standard, digicomic-style adventure, while the guest writers considered it just an okay adventure title. All groups agreed it's suitable for younger players. Next is Casper, which the lady users loved for its puzzle action gameplay and appealing characters. The high rollers thought it was decent, but not particularly special, especially for experienced players. Guest writers echoed this, finding it just okay. Again, it was rated highly suitable for children. Black Dawn, a helicopter shooter, received positive feedback across the board. The lady users liked its realistic feel and mission variety. High rollers enjoyed the helicopter action and weapon variety. Guest writers praised it as a solid, demanding, and rewarding shooter. It was noted that it might be a bit challenging for younger children, despite still getting a good 4 children rating. Finally, the something slightly hotter section discusses the flight simulator/shooting game genre in general. Lady users and high rollers enjoyed the responsive controls and balanced gameplay within this genre. Guest writers appreciated fast-paced shooting games with good controls, though perhaps slightly lacking in challenge. All groups agreed such games are generally suitable for children. Fantastep, an adventure game, received mixed reviews. Lady users loved its never-ending story feel, awarding an 8/10, while high rollers found it childish and boring, giving it a 4. Guest writers praised its visuals and simple gameplay, also awarding an 8. Wars, a battle simulation, received similar mixed responses. Koala and Matryoshika liked the casual strategy, but criticized its shortcomings, giving a 5. Haduzing Please found the game's direction questionable, calling the gameplay simplified and unrewarding, and scoring it a 3. Mobile Suit Z Gundam, Zeta no Kodu, an action game, also saw mixed opinions. Jared Mesa up top appreciated the Gundam animations, scoring a 4. Atmosphere Feeling is above standard, thought it was weak, praising animation while criticizing the scenario, and giving a 5, citing issues with movement and visual quality. This page features reviews for a couple of games and a preview of upcoming titles. First up is Magical Hoppers, a 3D action game. Lady users found it simple yet enjoyable, praising the controls and 3D visuals, giving it an 8 out of 10. High rollers also rated it an 8, enjoying the tempo, difficulty balance, and graphics, finding it stress-relieving. Guest writers highlighted the bonus stages and simple gameplay, scoring it a 7. Overall, reviewers seem to agree it's a fun and accessible action title. Next is Seabass Fishing 2, a fishing simulation game. Those who eat fish enjoyed the realism and beginner friendliness, appreciating the free mode, variety of fish, and even included recipes, rating it 8 out of 10. Husbands and wives also were even more impressed, giving it a 9, noting the depth for hardcore players and the realistic fishing experience. It seems like a well-rounded fishing game, appealing to different player types. Moving on to new software previews. Underclassmate, Karyusei, is a PC hit love simulation game being ported to Saturn, aimed at players 18 and over. Finally, there's a glimpse of the upcoming Martian successor Nadesico, Kidu Senkan Nadesico, game, described as a love adventure based on the popular anime, set to be released in early May. This page delves into the Secret Techniques corner, titled, Cheat Techniques A Go, Go, submitted by readers. First up is Uncharted Waters 2, New Horizons, addressing the question of how to make more money. The trick is to buy items, equip them on your ship, and then sell them at the item shop. By doing this, you can gain an extra 1,500 in currency compared to selling them unequipped. Pay attention to the money amount at the bottom left to see the increase. Next is Puzzle Bobble 3, revealing a secret title screen. By quickly pressing A, left, right, and A after the title appears, you can change the background of the title screen. Finally, for Gusun Oyoyo, they introduce a crazy mode. To unlock it, when you're at the normal mode selection screen, you need to press and hold L and R buttons simultaneously, while also holding the A button. This unlocks a mode with changed character appearances, including a bunny girl transformation, and significantly harder gameplay within the game's chaotic story. The page also announces a great cheat technique recruitment, inviting readers to submit their own SEGA Saturn cheat techniques. Prizes are offered based on the Go-Go Girl rank awarded to submissions, ranging from 2 Saturn games for the special rank to book coupons for lower ranks. This document outlines the upcoming SEGA Saturn software release schedule from May to September. The schedule is presented in a table format, detailing release dates, game titles, prices, developers, genres, and compatibility information. May's releases include racing and adventure games like Derby List and Eberouge, alongside titles such as Digital Ange, Electronic Angel SS, and Grand Red. June features action games like Vulcan Armadura and Guardian Force, along with the puzzle game by Koku Anima. July brings Quiz Ninero Dreams and Praedor Doll Disc Volume 4, with a special edition of the latter. August includes Go 2 iProfessional and Wiz. September's lineup includes Fans Formula, Falcom Classic, N2, Maria, and Speed Racing Girl Assembly. Compatibility information includes controller types, handle, analog, mouse, multi-tap support, and player numbers, 2 and 3 players. The schedule also indicates first releases and titles, with changes using symbols. The next page continues the SEGA Saturn's upcoming software release schedule, now detailing titles from summer through to the end of 1997. Summer is packed with action and adventure, featuring games like Resident Evil, Assault Suits Valken, Doom, Return Fire, and Ultimate Tiger 2 Plus. Role-playing fans can look forward to Panzer Dragoon RPG and Real Sound, Wind Regret. Moving into autumn, the schedule boasts a diverse range, including Sonic Championship, Sonic the Fighters, Virtua Fighter 3, and the atmospheric adventure Heart of Darkness. Sports games like NHL Breakaway and All-Star Baseball are also on the horizon. For winter and the year's end, the lineup remains strong, with titles like Resident Evil 2, Mega Man 8, Super Adventure Rockman, Grandia, and Lunar Eternal Blue. Other notable titles include Thunder Force V, Dead or Alive, and Rayman 2. This schedule really highlights the sheer volume of games coming to the Saturn, promising a fantastic end to the year for players with a huge variety of genres to choose from. This page presents the 12th installment of Game and Art's Subtle Relationship, titled Within the Ruins. It features Drive Fuse, who discusses the game D, known as AD 1999, Pharaoh's Resurrection, and its exploration of death and mummies in ancient Egypt. Dr. Fuse, described as a scholar, writer, and artist who teaches at Tokyo University of Arts, recounts his experience of seeing real mummies at the Cairo Museum. He draws parallels between this real-world encounter with death and the game D, noting how both evoke a similar feeling. The article delves into the game's atmosphere, describing how players explore mysterious ruins and encounter mummies, leading to a sense of unease and sickness. Dr. Fuse emphasizes that D captures the disturbing aspects of death, contrasting it with a more romanticized or aesthetic view. He highlights the game's success in creating a disturbing atmosphere, even suggesting it can make players feel unwell while playing. The page also includes game details. D, or AD 1999, Pharaoh's Resurrection, released on November 29, 1996, priced at 5,800 yen, and categorized as an action game. Finally, there is a section called Weekly Fuse Hakase Academy, encouraging readers to send in questions to Dr. Fuse via postcard or fax. SEGA Saturn Magazine is holding a reader prize giveaway. Prizes include a choice of SEGA Saturn games for 20 winners, a Sonic the Hedgehog screensaver, 10 SEGA logo pin badges, 3 Fighters Megamix official guides, 3 Tenchi Muyo necessary software copies, 3 Virtua Striker, 2 sports towels, a signed piece of colored paper, 3 the Unsolved t-shirt and cap sets, and a God Arms figure set. Winners are listed by region for some prizes. Readers entered by sending in a postcard with a questionnaire by May 2nd. The magazine also notes the recent Tokyo Game Show, upcoming Saturn titles, and the release of the next issue on April 25th, with contact information provided. This page is an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game Touge King the Spirits 2. It highlights the game as a racing controller-compatible 3D racing game for 1 to 2 players, and mentions it's available now for 5,800 yen, with a limited first edition including an original sticker. The advert also promotes a Advan Goods Present campaign, where 100 people can win various Advan-branded prizes. These prizes include a replica helmet, a stadium jumper, a director's chair, a sports sweatshirt, a sports pouch, a cap, a key holder, and a Tamiya JTCC car model. The application period for this campaign is from April 18th to May 31st, and the advert provides address details for entries and mentions an Atlas JTCC video series also being sold. This page showcases the Sega Saturn fighting game Groove on Fight. The advert prominently features a cool-looking female character wielding a large weapon, setting the tone for the game. You can see screenshots of the 2D fighting gameplay, a classic genre on the Saturn. It's promoting the game's release on May 16, 1997, with 2 purchase options: a standard CD version priced at 5,800 yen, and a version bundled with a RAM cartridge for 7,800 yen. There's also a pre-order campaign offering an original Murata Lotus poster as a bonus. A special Strongest Fighting Set present campaign is highlighted, where lucky winners can get their hands on a limited edition set, including a control box and a copy of Groove on Fight cassette. Additionally, 100 people can win an arcade version Groove on Fight poster. The advert details the application period for these campaigns, running from May 16th to June 30th, and provides contact information for inquiries. This page is an advert for the intriguing Sega Saturn title, Real Sound Wins Regret. It's promoted as a groundbreaking listening game, emphasizing a unique audio experience. The advert features a large stylized number 3 and the title, Real Sound Wins Regret, prominently displayed. It mentions that it is coming to Sega Saturn in the summer of '97 and will be available as a 3-Credrom set for 6,400 yen. The advert also lists the key staff involved, including the director, planner, scriptwriter, composer, and voice actors.